I do my setup and listen to some music. I'll move my mic to the side while I do my setup. Look at this. Pathetic. Like I thought. Like I thought. Like I really thought. Oh, this is. This is a whole new level of trash. Let me put this right here. Let me put this right here. Oh, this is a whole new level of garbage. Woo! Woo! Oh, this is a whole new level of garbage. Please load up. Don't do me like this. Ooh, I needed to make sure I saw this. I know I see this correctly. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. Mm, mm. Oh, this is scandalous. Can you believe this? Oh my God. This is scandalous. Oh, this is different. We about to eat. Oh my goodness, we about to eat. This is a new level of low. We've really become one of them, huh? There's no going back. Treacherous behavior. Irredeemable behavior. You can't save yourself from this. Oh, this is scandalous. This is beyond what I expected to ever see. Oh my goodness. Wow, really? So we're just a different level of trash, huh? Oh my goodness. This is an embarrassment. Ooh wee. This ain't looking good at all. Oh my goodness. Mm, mm, mm. Ooh! Oh no, this is getting worse. It's getting worse. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I gotta get this started soon. Taking a look at these numbers from Sunday. Y'all gonna be shocked when y'all hear some of these numbers, man. This is this is beyond me. Y'all really gonna be oof, man. You really gotta do this, huh? All right. Let's put this down. Although I could listen to this opening. Nah, I got plenty of time to listen to music and chill out. Let's come do this nonsense here. Oh boy. Okay, let's just make sure we're good here. We're good here. We are good here. Oh my god, back-to-back levels of trash. You cannot escape. Woo-wee. This is... We got to go through some of these numbers, man. This is ridiculous. Oh boy. All right. I suppose we should have a conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, what is up? What is good? What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are enjoying your day. You guys know what time it is. You guys know what we're here for. You guys know how this is going to go down. Okay, there's nothing else to really say here. It is yet another therapy session, and it is going to be another nasty one, another controversial one, because I ain't gonna lie, we're gonna get into some things. We're gonna say some things here that ain't gonna be good. It ain't gonna be good what we gotta say here, man. But it's gotta be said. Oh, what the? Are you telling me everything's on? Oh, boy. I don't want everything. Hold on for a second. Let me do this again. Sorry about that. Let me do this again. All right, let's do it like this. There we go. Woo-wee. This is bad. This is bad. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Sorry, just doing a few other things as I get myself set up here. All right, we're good. I just wanted to make sure that's there, and I wanted to make sure I have this because, woo-wee. This is something different, man. Oh my goodness. All right, let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, what is up? What is good? What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are enjoying your day. Welcome one and all to the week 14 therapy session. Now, when it comes to the therapy session, we tend to do things a little bit interesting here. I like to start the stream off on a positive note. What's going on, George? I like to start the stream off on a positive note. I usually like to take the first 15 to 20 minutes of the stream to kind of focus on other related topics that don't involve the topic of discussion we will be discussing, which is the Ravens. You know, we like to talk about things very lighthearted, very chill, very cool, very nice. We like to talk about that, you know. We don't want to start off immediately with a level of negativity. But when it comes to this therapy session, I want to let you guys kind of lead the charge here. So I'm going to ask you guys, because we're 8 minutes into this. I can go another 12 minutes. We could talk about other topics. We could be all nice and cool and sweet and focus on non-related sports things and just talk about life and all the other things and other forms of entertainment. Knowing what we got to talk about today and knowing how severe the situation is for the Ravens, I want to ask a few of you guys in the chat, should we just not waste any time, not try to do the sweet talk? Should we get right into this? Should we just get started? Or do you think we could take a couple minutes, kind of chill out, you know, talk about a little non-related Ravens things, and then we can come straight into the first topic of discussion? Because I want to know how you guys are feeling right now, you know. The game was on Sunday. We did not stream on Monday. Today is Tuesday, so you've had over 48 hours at this point to let this loss kind of, you know, sit with you. So we could get right into, Joshua saying, let's get right into the nitty gritty. You guys cool with that? We ain't got to do the whole small talk of talk about things unrelated to the Ravens. Should we get right into it? Jay saying get right into it. Let's make fun of my team and talk TV shows. All right, we're gonna get everyone saying let's dive right into it. All right. We ain't going to do the small talk here. We are 10 minutes into the stream. Everybody is ready to get into this, so let's dive right into it. You better fry that whole wide receiver core except for Zay. We going to get into this. I got the numbers in front of me. I'm going to let y'all know we going to get into this. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Week 14 therapy session. There was a game that was played on Sunday. It was a AFC North matchup, battle for first place between the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. What made this game significant was, one, it was a battle for first place in the AFC North in a season where nobody in the division is doing well, and you have to win the division to make the playoffs. That's number one. Number two, this was a day where the Ravens were honoring their 2000 Super Bowl champion squad. They had the 2000 Raven championship team out there. In our building against our most heated rival, we were celebrating that 2000 Ravens team. You had Ray Lewis out there with the trophy in his hand. And how did the Ravens respond? With the 2000 Ravens defense, all those players out there to celebrate that championship team out there, all eyes on them against our most heated rival. How did the Ravens respond? Well, I'll tell you how they responded. They went out there and put up yet another humiliating loss. Let me tell you something. I don't care about the final score. The final score does not tell the story of how embarrassing this loss is. Steelers fans walked away from this game saying, how the hell did we win this one? And I'll tell you why they walked away from feeling confused as to how they won this game. When you take a look at this, first thing you got to understand, if you take a look at the head-to-head matchup between the Ravens and the Steelers here, you would actually have an understanding as to why the Steelers would be more confused here. So, when it comes to this game, Baltimore had over 100 plus total yards in this game. 100 plus yards total. They had 100 more yards than the Pittsburgh Steelers had in this game. Just putting it out there, had 100 more yards than them in this game for the most part. I actually want to see. They had more time of possession. So the Ravens had more time of possession. They had more total yards. They blasted them when it came to rushing yards. The Pittsburgh Steelers rushed for 34 yards. Baltimore rushed for 217. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Baltimore rushed for over 200 yards. Pittsburgh rushed for 34 yards. And the Steelers walked out with a victory. If you would have told a Steelers fan that defense was going to give up over 200 yards rushing, over 200 yards passing, and their offense was going to rush for 34 yards, they would have thought they got blown out. You couldn't have convinced a Steelers fan. If you would have told them before the game, your defense is going to give up over 200 yards passing, over 200 yards rushing, and your offense is going to rush for 34 yards. Not a single Steelers fan would have sat back here and said, oh, we won the game. They would have thought we got blown out by double digits. You would assume that, right? You would assume an offense that rushes for over 200 yards and passes for over 200 yards. Meanwhile, your defense holds them to 34 yards rushing. You would assume the team that was able to dominate on the ground, control the clock, lead in time of possession, lead in total yards. You would think that team would have won the game. Ho, ho, ho. You are wrong about that. You would be fully wrong about that. Did you know that Baltimore actually had more first downs than the Pittsburgh Steelers? They had more passes that went for first downs. They had more rushes that went for first downs. They picked up more first downs. They ran, 16 more plays than the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know what to tell you. The numbers through and through would tell you in terms of head-to-head totality, Baltimore should have walked away with the victory. And yet, despite that, Baltimore took the fattest of L's you can take in the worst possible ways. Let's get into this real quick. The Pittsburgh Steelers walked into Baltimore's house, walked into M&T Bank Stadium with the 2000 Ravens championship team watching, and they beat us. Aaron Rodgers. Let's start with this first aspect here. Aaron Rodgers, 23 of 34, 284 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, a passer rating of 103.1, a QBR of 62.6. He also had a rushing touchdown. Let me come fact check this real quick because I really want to make sure. I got the numbers in front of me. I got the numbers in front of me. I got the numbers in front of me. Ooh, I got the numbers in front of me. Aaron Rodgers passed for 284 yards. Aaron Rodgers on Sunday passed for 284 yards. That is his season high in passing yards. Aaron Rodgers passed for 284 yards in this game. That is his season high for passing yards. The previous season high he had was 249 yards against the Cincinnati Bengals in a game they lost 33-31. So Aaron Rodgers got his season high for passing yards on our defense. Season high. Season high passing yards for Aaron Rodgers on that defense. But wait, there's more. Aaron Rodgers had a rushing touchdown. Aaron Rodgers has not had a rushing touchdown in over 3 years. He got his first rushing touchdown in over 3 years against our sorry excuse of a defense. So not only did Aaron Rodgers pick up his season high in passing yards against that defense, he also picked up his first rushing touchdown in about 3 years against that defense. Want to make this even worse? Woo! Let me tell you something right now. Marlon Humphrey's time in Baltimore, it looks like it's about to come to an end because I don't know what to tell. We can't do this back and forth. 1 year you're an all-pro playing, you're playing like an all-pro. Next year you're getting burnt every single week. Then the year afterwards you're hurt and you're not on the field. We can't do this. We appreciate your time. We thank you for everything you've done, but I don't see how you give that dude an extension. Especially with him being a veteran player and his injury history and how he's looked in some of these games. How do you give him a contract extension? How do you do that? With the way he's looking. Oh my goodness. Y'all want to talk about Humphrey getting cooked. Check this out. DK Metcalf. Ooh, you're going to love this one. DK Metcalf in this game against the Baltimore Ravens. DK Metcalf, let me go back here. I want to make sure I get this right. Let me get off of Aaron Rodgers stats. Because Aaron Rodgers, I want to repeat this for anyone that's new in the chat. Aaron Rodgers had his season high in passing yards against the Ravens defense. He also collected his first rushing touchdown in over 3 years against that very same Ravens defense. Let's add to the level of pain. DK Metcalf, 7 receptions, 148 yards. Let me repeat this. DK Metcalf, 7 receptions, 148 yards. That right there is also DK Metcalf's season high in receiving yards. DK Metcalf, 7 catches, 148 yards. Season high for DK Metcalf. So let me get this straight. This supposedly reamped Ravens defense gave up of the first rushing touchdown to Aaron Rodgers in 3 years. They've given up the season high in passing yards for Aaron Rodgers this year. And they gave up the season high in receiving yards for DK Metcalf. 148 receiving yards. That is the season high for DK Metcalf. No other defense gave up that most. Let's make it even worse. DK Metcalf had 148 receiving yards. That is the first 100-plus yard receiving game DK Metcalf has had since week 4 when he took on the Minnesota Vikings. And they won that game. The Steelers won 24-21. DK had 5 catches for 126 yards and a touchdown. So the 148-yard performance from DK Metcalf, that is the first 100-yard reception game he has had since week 4 of the season. Let me reiterate. DK Metcalf put up his season high 148 receiving yards. His season high in receiving yards, he put on the Ravens defense. It is his first 100-yard receiving game since week 4 of the NFL season, when week 14. That is what that defense did on Sunday. So to reiterate, because I want to keep pressing this, because people were trying to praise this defense when they were on that 5-game winning streak. And I sat here and told you I'm not impressed. You beat Dillon Gabriel. You beat J.J. McCarthy. You beat Tyrod Taylor. Who are you trying to impress? Oh, but they held the Rams to 17 points. Yeah, well, Matthew Stafford probably played one of the worst first halves of the season for him. When him and Davante Adams could not connect, they left at least 14 points on the table in the first half. If he hits a wide open Davante Adams on multiple occasions, we're already going into halftime down double digits. And then the other 14 points they got in the second half, it would have been a wrap. The defense was not going to stop that offense, especially if they broke through in the first half. But y'all want to bring that up like it's scripture. All the people trying to defend this defense. When you're going up against Dillon Gabriel, when you're going up against Tyrod Taylor, when you're going up against J.J. McCarthy, oh, your defense can look good. But what did I tell you? When you get a veteran quarterback that knows how to dissect the defense at a high level, or if you get an elite quarterback, I promise you, this defense will fold. What did Joe Burrow do to us on Thanksgiving night? An elite quarterback that can read defenses and knows how to attack the weak spots of a defense. Look what he did. He didn't even have his best game, and he diced us up. That offense dropped 30 on our defense. What happened on Sunday? Aaron Rodgers turned back the clock. Aaron Rodgers ain't looked that mobile since 2012. They didn't touch him. Aaron Rodgers was dodging defenders, literally maneuvering past pass rushers. Didn't get touched the whole game. He had his season high in passing yards and had his first rushing touchdown in 3 years. Meanwhile, DK Metcalf had his season high in receiving yards and his first 100-yard game since week 4 of the NFL season. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Cincinnati faced off against DK Metcalf twice. If you combined the total amount of yards he had in those 2 games, Baltimore still gave up more by a wide margin. In 2 games, we like to laugh at that Cincinnati defense, right? We like to make fun of Cincy's defense for being trash. In the 2 games DK Metcalf played against the Cincinnati Bengals, he totaled 8 catches for 99 yards. In 2 games against that sorry Bengals defense. In 2 games against that sorry Bengals defense, DK Metcalf put up 8 catches for 99 yards. 1 game against this sorry Ravens defense, he had 1 less catch and 49 more yards. That's what that defense put out there in front of that 2000 Ravens Super Bowl team, by the way. Should we add to it and how bad the defense was? Should we add to it? Well, let's take a look at a few more stats here in terms of what the defense did. When you compare the Steelers defense to what the Ravens defense did, the Steelers had 22. I'm right. They had 22 more total tackles. A lot more tackles considering the fact that, our team had plenty. I really wish I could see the amount of missed tackles we had, because all the Ravens did for yet another Sunday was miss tackle after tackle. The amount of missed tackles the Ravens give up on a consistent basis is honestly embarrassing for a team that's supposed to be disciplined. Oh, wait, they're not a disciplined team. Everybody can clearly see that. They're a bad football team. So the Steelers had 80 total tackles. The Ravens had 58. Let's get into the fun part here. I'm going to ignore all the tackles and pass defendings. I'm going to look at 2 things: sacks and quarterback hits. The Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday sacked Lamar twice, and they got 5 quarterback hits. The Baltimore Ravens sacked 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers a total of 0 times. 0 sacks against 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers. 0 sacks against 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers. They had 1 quarterback hit. And guess when that quarterback hit technically happened? It happened with the play that we thought was ruled an interception, but actually wasn't an interception. They essentially did not touch this man for 60 minutes. 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers virtually went untouched in a football game, in a rivalry, in a very, very, very heated rivalry. At least that's what I was told. It's not the same anymore. This is supposed to be one of the best rivalries in football, and yet 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers didn't get touched by any single one of our pass rushers. He was guys that are a decade younger than him, a decade plus younger than him, couldn't touch him. The man's 42 years old, and he's dodging pass rushers in the pocket like it's 2012. I'm saying that was 2011 Aaron Rodgers out there. That was 20. Did you see some of the throws he was making? How he was able to easily cook our defense with ease? Man's getting in and out of the pocket, getting whatever the hell he wanted. That was 2011 Aaron Rodgers out there. Y'all made 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers look like he was 25 again. You sad, disgraceful bunch of losers. That's what you did in front of the 2000 Ravens defense. I want that to be known. This sorry excuse for a defense gave up a season high in passing yards to Aaron Rodgers. They gave up the first rushing touchdown in 3 years to Aaron Rodgers. They gave up a season high in receiving yards to DK Metcalf. His first 100-plus yard reception game or receiving game since week 4 of the NFL season. And they didn't touch this man once. 0 sacks. They didn't touch him once. 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers was getting past our pass rushers. That's what that defense did on Sunday in front of the Super Bowl team. You don't have any sense of pride? No pride? You don't have the will to compete, to fight, to play at a high level? The Steelers' defense has had their struggles this year, and even they were finding ways to make plays and get to Lamar Jackson. And you can't get to a 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers, and I'm supposed to take you seriously? Are you kidding me? 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers didn't get sacked once in a 60-minute football game in a quote-unquote heated physical rivalry. That's what we saw on Sunday. Aaron Rodgers didn't get touched once. Aaron Rodgers didn't get touched once. You got the 2000 Ravens defense out there celebrating their anniversary, having the team out there celebrating that championship. Ray Lewis holding the trophy, and not one of you guys were motivated to put a quarterback in the dirt. An old 42-year-old man, you couldn't get to him once. And it's not like the Steelers have a great offensive line. Steelers fans will tell you their offensive line isn't the best. They've struggled to run the ball consistently. 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers went 60 minutes without getting touched by a single defender. And I'm supposed to take you seriously. You did that in front of Ray Lewis. Really? You serious? You let that 42-year-old man come into your house, put up his season high in passing yards, get his first rushing touchdown in 3 years. His receiver that got low-key shut down against the Cincinnati Bengals defense, he puts up his season high in receiving yards on your dome. And that quarterback, that 42-year-old man walked off that field as clean as a whistle. Didn't get touched the entire game. Only time he got touched was on a play where it could have been an interception. And even in that situation, they ruled it as him catching the ball. You didn't touch that 42-year-old man once. You got pass rushers that are in their 20s on that D-line. And not one of them could get to him. Y'all had that man dancing in the pocket looking like it was 2011. Y'all had that man dodging defenders like it was prime Aaron Rodgers. That's what y'all did on Sunday in front of Ray Lewis. I got nothing to say for the rest of y'all, man. Like, that entire D-line, Mike Green, rookie, no rookie. You can't catch a 42-year-old man. Everybody on the D-line, I'm looking at y'all sideways. Not one of y'all. David Ojabo, I hope you are I don't care if they have to cut. I don't know if you got. I hope he's done after this year. I don't want to see this man on this team anymore. He does nothing. He does nothing. I'm tired of watching this dude go out there and get cardio for 60 minutes. He does nothing. Absolutely nothing. I can deal with Mike Green whiffing on a sack against Aaron Rodgers. I can deal with that. Mike Green whiffed on a sack. That's why I said they had that man looking like 2011 Aaron Rodgers. He whiffed on a sack. David Ojabo's not even getting close. I don't even know what he's doing out there. But he's just out there to run some cardio. I need him off the team. That entire D-line looks soft. Roquan Smith, I don't even know what to make of you anymore, bro. I don't know if it's just you not caring or you just don't have it anymore. Do you care? Do you care? Do you care? I really got to know. Do you care? Do you care? Do you honestly care? I don't know if you care anymore. Do you have that same passion? Do you have that same fire? Or have you just lost it because the team sucks this year? What is it? Aren't you supposed to be one of the leaders on this team? Aren't you supposed to be one of the leaders on this team? You can't motivate these boys to go out there and play in front of that Super Bowl team? What, did Ray Lewis not come into the locker room and whisper to your ears to play aggressively for 60 minutes? Is that why you went out there and played the way you did? And it's not like you were terrible, but I didn't see the fire I needed to see from you. In a game like this was supposed to be a playoff type game, and y'all played like that? Well, you know what? Given the history of this team under the Lamar Jackson era in the playoffs, honestly, I think you guys did a good job and showcased your playoff form, because that's exactly what you'll do in January. Fold. You can't beat a 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers. What the hell are you think you're going to do in the playoffs? Look who's in the playoffs. Josh Allen going to cook this defense again if you see him. You got a bunch of young quarterbacks, and some of these guys are really mobile. What the hell are you going to do against them? You can't do nothing against these young guys. You can't get to a 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers. What you going to do with Josh Allen? That boy going to throw for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he going to rush for another 3 touchdowns and nearly have 100 yards rushing because y'all suck. You going to do nothing in the playoffs against old Josh Allen. Piss off. Kyle Hamilton, I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry. You got to be looking around and saying, what the hell am I working with here? If we could clone Kyle Hamilton and make him play the other 10 spots, we'd have a damn good defense. Unfortunately, one player can't make up for the rest. And I'm not saying we need to clone 11 people. I don't think everybody on the defense was poor yesterday. But, not poor yesterday, but poor on Sunday. No, I don't think that was the case, but it was enough to be very noticeable. The entire front seven was soft. It was soft. Roquan Smith don't even look like he cared anymore. Where's the leadership, buddy? Where's the leadership? You need Ray Lewis to whisper in your ear in order for you to get motivated for a game like this? Where's the leadership from him? Kyle Hamilton, again, you going out there and playing your heart out. I can't say nothing about you, but you can't cover every weakness with this team. It's not possible. Nate Wiggins wasn't bad. Chidobe Awuzie wasn't bad. You guys look like you at least care. Can't say too much for the rest of the people around you, but you look like you care. Alohi Gilman, I hope you're ready for the bench. I hope. Alohi Gilman, I really want to say this, Gilman. I appreciate you coming in and helping Zachary Orr patch up some holes, but I hope you're ready for the bench, because we got a certified crash out that's getting ready to play. I don't need to see you out there, okay? Just get ready for the bench. You'll get some snaps here and there, but get ready for the bench. And if Zachary Orr can't put you on the bench, that'll just be another reason as to why he shouldn't be the defensive coordinator. Boy, I am praying that Ardarius Washington is ready as soon as possible. He's already practicing. I want him to play this week. I know he's going to go out there and smack somebody. I know he's going to be a crash out. I'm sick and tired of watching Gilman miss tackle after tackle. I'm so tired of watching Gilman miss tackle after tackle. Dude can't tackle. He can't tackle at all. He's a decent safety. Him being back there allows Kyle Hamilton to do his job. He can cover. He's really good in coverage, but he's garbage in tackling. He can't tackle. He can cover. He can't tackle at all. If he was a ball hawk, we can at least accept that. Okay, he can't tackle, but he's good in coverage, and he gets a ball hawk, so he's going to get the football. He's going to create turnovers. He don't do that. He don't do that. He don't do that at all. He don't do that at all. So since he's not a ball hawk, he's good in coverage. He's good in coverage. Gonna give the man his credit. That's why he's out there. That's why he's helped this team. He's good in coverage. He can't tackle worth a damn. He can't tackle with the damn. So I need you to take a seat on the bench and let a real crash out come out there and show you how it's done. And I got to pray that that man got juice left and that this team don't have bad luck. Because if Ar'Darius Washington walk out there and he don't look like the same man we saw last year, I'm going to be torn to pieces. Because I know for a fact he don't look the same. I know it's because he probably rushed his way back from this Achilles injury. But I ain't going to try to jinx it. I just got to pray he go out there and look like the same Ar'Darius Washington that was shutting things down, was literally a crash out. Same man that just, oh my God, was just giving so many defenders the belt. The same guy that knocked the ball out of Russell Wilson's hand in a key game against the Steelers last year. Just hope that crash out's ready to go. Marlon Humphrey, like I said, you're hot and you're cold. People are getting tired of it. 1 year you're injured, the next year you're playing at all-pro level, the year after that you're getting cooked. We can't keep doing this with you, buddy. You've reached that point where it's like we have to start investing in other things moving forward. I don't know if he's going to get a long-term extension. I can't see it. But with the way this team is operating, they'll probably give him an extension, and the Marlon Humphrey journey will continue from there. So I honestly don't know. All right, just making sure that, all right, we're good to go on that. Just need to make sure about that. Yeah. This defense as a whole, man, got a lot of talent, but I don't know what the hell they're doing. I really don't. And then Marlon Humphrey keeps coming to the press conference talking about how, if 10 people are doing their job, but one person's not, it's going to cause us to not be able to get, if 10 people are doing the right thing, but one person's not, it's going to cause us to not get the job done. And I'm like, dude, enough already. You keep saying this, and then we're watching you guys go out there and do it. Just call people's names out. Hell, it might as well call you out because you were the problem last week. Zachary Orr, is there anything left to say about you? Like I said, I think you have the talent to potentially be a good defensive coordinator in this league one day. I think you have the talent. And it seems like the guys can rally behind you, but I just don't think you're ready. That's my thing. I don't think Zachary Orr is a bad defensive coordinator. I just don't think he's ready. I don't think he's ready. I don't think he's ready. Oh yeah, last but not least, I forgot. Malachi Starks, again, he's a rookie. He's just out there. I mean, I'm not even going to lie. I don't see him. Good news is he's not giving up a lot of plays. That's if there's anything I can say, it's not like he's making an impact on the games and making his imprint. He's just not. I mean, I'm not seeing much from Malachi Starks, but at least he's not getting burnt left and right. I don't hear from him, so that's at least a good thing. He's not getting cooked. But I'm not seeing him make a lot of plays. It is what it is. Like I said, him and Mike Green, they're rookies. We would have liked to have seen more from them, but at the end of the day, they've given us something. We'll at least hope for development moving forward. It's hard for me to grade rookies based off of this. I can't expect them to be all pros immediately. At least both of them have given us something to hope for. There's potential with these guys. There's no potential with Odafe. Jesus. I just saw someone say Odafe had 5 sacks. Yeah, congrats to Odafe for having 5 sacks for the Chargers. Good for him. What I was trying to say is David Ojabo. I don't see no potential with Ojabo. He need to pack his bags right now. I can see potential with Mike Green. I don't see no potential with Ojabo. Pack your bags and leave now. But, yeah, I'll let the rookies be the rookies. Zachary Orr, I believe one day you can be a really good defensive coordinator in this league. I believe you can absolutely be a good defensive coordinator in this league someday. I just don't think it's today. I'm looking at this defense. How many times are you going to do you have a game plan? Or is your game plan so simplistic? Y'all notice this, right? What does he do every time on 3rd down? I'm going to just send a blitz. 3rd and long, 3rd and short, don't matter, I'm going to send the blitz. You ain't going to switch it up? 3rd and long, sending a blitz. 3rd and intermediate, sending a blitz. 3rd and short, everybody going to be lined up at the line of scrimmage, sending a blitz. What are you doing? What are you doing? You still have our edge rushers backing up into coverage. What are you doing? I don't think this guy really knows what he's doing. I think that's something that has to be. I don't know if this guy knows what he's doing. I don't know how much help he's getting from these other guys. I don't know what the hell he's out there trying to do. You got your edge rushers backed up into coverage. The hell type of game plan is that? Well, you got pass rushers guarding tight ends. What are you doing? Why the hell do you always go to the de facto aspect of blitz? I think he's got potential. I don't know if he's going to reach it, but I think he's got potential. No, I see everybody's talking about it. We started off with defense. We have not gotten to offense. I know what y'all waiting on. We have not gotten to offense. We have started with defense. But yeah, Zachary Orr, man, I don't know what he's doing, bro. When in doubt, blitz on third down. He don't know what he's doing out there. Defense is still this. When in doubt, I'm blitzing on third down. Do we even disguise? You know what? Should I even be talking about disguise coverages? I'm sorry. Should I really be talking about disguise coverages? I haven't seen us disguise coverages since Mike Macdonald was here. And I know he's been disguising. Have you taken a look at Seattle's defense? Do you know Seattle's defense is confusing people right now? Go look at some film study on Seattle's defense. Oh my goodness, Mike Macdonald's doing he's doing so much wonders for that defense. Oh my God. I remember when we used to have a defensive coordinator that knew how to disguise coverages. And the crazy part is being able to disguise coverages would be perfect for a defense when you have Kyle Hamilton roaming around. In my opinion, Ravens defense has been bad for years. They weren't bad in 2023 when they led the league in sacks, takeaways, and were the number one scoring defense in the league because they were giving up, 15, 16 points a game. When Mike Macdonald was the defensive coordinator here in 2023, we had honestly the best defense in football. The only reason that the Cleveland Browns got the edge over us is because they've given up less total yards. But we were number one in takeaways, number one in sacks, and we were the number one scoring defense in the league because we gave up just around 16 points a game. When Mike Macdonald was still the defensive coordinator here, we had one of the best defenses, honestly, in quite some time. That defense was being compared to so many other teams, and they rightfully deserve that. They rightfully deserve that. They showed up in the playoffs. They're not the reason why we didn't make the Super Bowl that year. So yeah, Mike Macdonald's defense in 2023 was wonderful. That was one of the best defenses we've seen in a long time, or at least in quite some time. And we let that guy walk to Seattle, and he's doing wonders for them. And Zachary Orr, since he's been here, the defense has been bad. It's been downright terrible. Oh my God, man. You don't understand, bro. It wasn't just Mike masking a lot of problems, dog. Oh my goodness. It wasn't just Mike masking it. Mike had the perfect guy to deal with here. Again, talent-wise, defense wasn't great, but it was specific aspects I gotta understand. Mike was able to he was masking a lot of things. But you know what helped those guys beyond that? First of all, the defensive line talent. You know what was helping the defensive line talent there? Jadeveon Clowney. And we don't have him anymore. I don't think you understand how much Clowney was actually impacting that front seven. And we did not bring him back. Jadeveon Clowney was there. Dude, oh my God, another Bills fan. Piss off. We don't care. We do not care. We are here to just talk about our team. Go bother a Lamar Jackson fan and go argue with them on Twitter. There's plenty of Lamar Jackson fans on Twitter that will give you the proper attention you want. You want a back and forth affair with those Lamar Jackson fans? Please go on Twitter and deal with that. We're trying to talk about our team sucking. We don't care, dude. We don't care. We don't care for your trolling. We don't care for your nonsense. Go on Twitter and interact with those teenagers, those Lamar Jackson stands that will protect Lamar Jackson's perfect. Go deal with those guys on Twitter. We are trying to talk about our defense being terrible. We don't care for your nonsense, your trolling. That's the only attention you're going to get from me. Let's get back on topic. So, yeah. Mike Macdonald was this guy. Mike Macdonald was making up for a lot of things on that defense. But you got to understand, when it came to the front seven, Clowney was doing a lot. Now, it wasn't even just with the sacks. The amount of pressure Clowney was bringing. Also, this has to be noted. Kyle Van Noy, obviously, age just started to catch up to him. Because at that time, Kyle Van Noy was doing a lot of things during that 2023 season. But, dude, Clowney was such an enforcer when it came to pressure. You don't understand how impactful Clowney was to that front seven. We hadn't had a dominant. You're right about that, Martavius. We have not had a dominant edge rushing unit since Suggs and Doomerville. What I'm saying is Clowney's probably the best we've had in terms of being able to bring consistent pressure. And he was a big factor in helping McDonald disguise the flaws that could be showcased in that defense. In my opinion, there was probably, two or three players that I would look at that were really covering up for a lot of the things that we were seeing here. One was Clowney. The other was Kyle Hamilton. Y'all got to remember, the reason why Mike Macdonald was able to do what he was able to do is because Kyle Hamilton, in terms of how effective they were and they became the triple crown defense, Kyle Hamilton was able to roam on Mike Macdonald's defense. So for all the Mike Macdonald, his schemes and the disguises that he was having in his schemes was helping cover up a lot of problems. But somebody on the field had to patch up some of those holes. That's what Kyle Hamilton was for. When it came to the back end of the defense, it came to Kyle Hamilton. When it came to the front seven, Clowney's consistent pressure was giving enough time for Kyle Hamilton to be an enforcer to cover up some of the issues you would see with this defense. So McDonald's scheme was making it easier for everybody, which is why you saw Brandon Stevens do what he was doing and why Marcus Williams with one arm was able to do what he's doing. So McDonald's scheme was making it easier for everybody to be as effective as they possibly can. But you still needed guys on the field to be able to perform to where we needed to be to cover up some of the holes and deficiencies. When you take a look at the front seven, that was Clowney. He was that guy. It's what helped Kyle Van Noy also come alive, and it's what helped Matabike have his breakout season because you couldn't double team Matabike with Clowney bringing the consistent pressure he was bringing. Clowney was so impactful, man. Clowney was so impactful to that front seven, and his consistent pressure that he brought made Kyle Hamilton's job that much easier for him to be able to cover up the holes that was in the backfield. So it was Clowney, it was Hamilton on the field, and it was Mike Macdonald bringing the scheme that brought the best out of everybody. Because you still need guys on that defense that are going to cover up some of the holes. Since we lost Mike Macdonald, we've been stuck with this. Zachary Orr is not talented enough as a defensive coordinator to scheme up defensive coverages that's going to put his guys in the best position to succeed. Kyle Hamilton patched up some holes last year. Why do you think they moved him back to free safety and the defense all of a sudden became magical? Kyle Hamilton is patching up holes on the field. But you still need a great defensive coordinator to help with the spots that Kyle Hamilton can't reach. He can't do anything. He can't do everything. He can do damn near everything, but he can't do everything. You needed that one guy to be that enforcer as a pass rusher. You don't have Clowney anymore. You just didn't have that last year because Clowney's gone. You had him in 2023. You didn't have that in 2024. So you didn't have anybody on the front seven that can really hold the fort to help you get to where you needed to get to. Kyle Hamilton's still here. He's trying to hold down the fort and patch up as many holes as possible. He can't do that because the backfield's so trash. So he has to go back to the backfield, which limits his opportunity. Ar'Darius Washington's able to now show up. And Zachary Orr cannot. Oh my God, I don't want to continue to talk about Zachary Orr's inabilities as the defensive coordinator. How often do you see, again, I would love to see the film here. I'm not going to try to make an assumption that he's never disguised coverages. How many disguised coverages have you seen? Do we disguise our blitz? Because when I go back and look at the film and see what Mike Macdonald was doing in 2023 to confuse quarterbacks, and then look what Zachary Orr puts out here. It's vanilla, it's garbage, man. I was watching Mike Macdonald. You don't understand the amount of confusion. You got to go ask some of the best what they were looking out there. Like what they had to deal with Mike Macdonald's defense. Go ask. Like I want to, if we could ever have a sit down and actually talk. If we can have a sit down and actually talk with some of the quarterbacks that took on Mike Macdonald's scheme. Hell, you could probably ask the Rams right now in terms of, go ask Matthew Stafford about what he's seeing from that Seattle defense and how they're able to disguise coverages and disguise blitzes and how that could be problematic. Mike Macdonald was doing that for us here, man. He's doing that in Seattle right now. That's why that deep. Ay. Hmm. Hmm. Let's see. All right. Okay, let me go from this one. Let's just take a look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in terms of let's go piece by piece. In terms of total yards per game given up, the Seattle Seahawks defense is ranked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're ranked 6th in total yards given up this year. They're ranked 6th in yards per game given up this year. This is their defense. In terms of passing yards per game, let's take a look because there's definitely a weakness that you could see with Seattle's defense in terms of passing yards. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th. So in terms of total yards given up, Seattle's ranked 6th in total yards, 6th in total yards per game. They're ranked 11th in total passing yards given up. In terms of passing yards per game given up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, okay, all right. So, in terms of total yards, Seattle's ranked 6th. In terms of total yards per game, they're ranked 6th. In terms of total passing yards given up this year, Seattle's ranked 11th. In terms of total passing yards per game given up, they're ranked 11th. In terms of rushing yards, Seattle's ranked 4th. In total rushing yards given up, they're ranked 4th, and they're ranked 4th in total yards per game given up. In terms of points, Seattle's ranked 2nd in total points given up, and they're ranked 2nd in points per game. The Seattle Seahawks have a top 10 defense. They have a top 10 defense. The Seattle Seahawks have a top 10 defense. They're first in their they're first in their division at 10-3. Let's see. The most amount of points their defense has given up, the most amount of points they've given up is 38 to the Buccaneers early on in the season. Past that, no. I don't think they have a lot of 30-point games given up. Mike Macdonald's defense is top 10. The Seattle Seahawks have a top 10 defense under Mike Macdonald. You want to see where the Ravens are ranked? I can tell you where they're ranked. At the very bottom. Let's go look at Zachary Orr's defense, right? We should be impressed with this defense. Let's take a look at total yards. Oh, look at Baltimore. At the bottom of the bottom. Right here. Right next to the Cardinals and the Titans. Right where they belong. I'm not even going to tell you. They're in the bottom 20. They're maybe like, 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 20. 25th. So they're 25th in total yards given up and yards per game. Passing yards, they might be the worst in the league. Surprisingly, they're not the worst in the league. They're still in the same spot. Rushing yards per game. Did they get up for rushing yards per game? Oh, no, they still stink. They're better. They're middle of the pack when it comes to rushing yards per game. How about points per game? They got to be better points per game wise. Oh, no, they go down back into the 20s points per game. The Ravens have a bad defense. Ravens defense stinks. Seattle has an elite defense. They've got a top 10 defense. And they don't have the level of talent we have. But they have Mike Macdonald, and we have Zachary Orr. That should tell you all that you need to know when it comes to the difference between these two teams. And it showed on Sunday when this defense gave up the most amount of passing yards, a season high in passing yards to Aaron Rodgers, the first rushing touchdown for him in 3 years, the most receiving yards DK Metcalf's had this season, and the first 100-yard game he's had since week 4. Defense didn't touch Aaron Rodgers once, 0 sacks. It's a mess. It's a mess through and through. This is the defense we've been talking about. When I told you they would get exposed once they dealt with an elite quarterback or a quarterback that can dissect defenses at a high level, when I told you guys this would happen, some of y'all wanted to ignore it. I don't think anyone in the chat, but I think others were trying to ignore it and trying to give credit to the defense for beating up on Dillon Gabriel and beating up on Tyrod Taylor and beating up on all these other rando quarterbacks. As if beating up on J.J. McCarthy was impressive. As if beating up on Tyrod Taylor, who just started that week, was impressive. As if beating up on Dylan Gabriel was impressive. Please get out of here with that nonsense. Congrats on beating up on those guys. Because that really showed that you guys win elite defense. Until Joe Burrow came back and torched your defense. And then Aaron Rodgers torched your defense. Congratulations, Zachary Orr. Your defense is exactly what I thought they were, which is why I didn't buy into the gimmicks that your defense was showing during the 5-game winning streak. You showed me exactly who you are. You've shown it all year. You can patch up as many holes as you want. You're not good. They're not good. Simple as that. Give me a second, guys. All right. Let's get back into it. I think we have done a good job in talking about the defense. I think we've done a good job in dissecting how bad this defense is. Let's move on to the offense, because despite the defense being as bad as they've been, the offense has been worse. And they really don't have an excuse to be as bad as they were. Oh my God, good Lord, this offense. Where do I begin with this offense? Where do I begin with all of this, man? I don't even know where to begin. Legitimately don't know where to begin. So let's start pulling out some of the numbers from Sunday. Give me a second here, because I know I liked it. I need to make sure I had this, because this was hella funny. This was hilarious to me. There it is. There it is. Let's get into the offense. I know you guys have been waiting for this. Let's get into the offense. So, Baltimore's offense. Where do I begin? We got to start with the quarterback. Guys, it is fair to say that Lamar Jackson hasn't been playing his best football. Now, there's reasons for that, and we're gonna get into those main reasons, because my God, for as bad as some of these plays Lamar has made these last few weeks have been, if certain individuals were just competent, his numbers wouldn't look as bad as they look. This man should probably have an extra 10 touchdowns over this last month. But if it wasn't for the incompetence that we've been seeing here, if it wasn't for the incompetence, his numbers would look a lot better. But because we're seeing this level of incompetence, his numbers look the way they look. But I just want to speak on him. It's fair to say that Lamar Jackson has not played his best football. It's fair to say that. It is fair to say that. Lamar has made some mistakes that we normally don't see from him. In Sunday's game, he threw an awful interception. I don't even know why you would attempt to make that throw there. He tried to float it over the top to try to get it to Rashid Ali, and it got picked off by his cousin, which was funny. That was a terrible throw and a terrible decision. I don't know why Lamar Jackson would make that type of decision when that's not his MO. He doesn't really make decisions or throws like that. That was terrible. That is on him. Lamar Jackson also had another moment where he had Derrick Henry open in space for a screen pass, and he just flat out missed him on the screen pass. There's times where Lamar is missing throws he's supposed to make. You're setting up a screen with Derrick Henry, and you can't get the ball to him on the screen? That's not a good look for Lamar. We talked about this last week, and we talked about it the week before. There are moments where we've seen over this last month where Lamar Jackson has missed throws that he normally makes. And that is not a good thing for him to do. So I have to hold him accountable for missing on the plays he normally makes, because we have to hold him to his standards that he sets. Routine throws that he's made with his eyes closed, he's been missing this last month. And it's not a good look for him, and it does play a role in some of the issues we have seen with this offense. It is fair to point this out. Like I say, I do not exclude anybody. We talk about everybody on this team because everybody plays a role on this team. It's a team game, and as much as the Lamar fans want to protect Lamar and act like he's perfect, he's not. He has made mistakes throughout this last month. He has made some terrible decisions throughout this last month. He has made some bad throws throughout this last month. And on Sunday, he missed some throws he's supposed to make. And he made a dumb decision and threw a terrible interception. That was all him. There was space for him to run and potentially pick up the first down if he extended. He willingly chose to throw that ball. Knowing there were defenders there, he threw it. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible throw. Terrible decision. Lamar has missed throws I've seen him make with his eyes closed. He's missed them throughout the last month. That is unacceptable from him. He knows it. He's played a role in some of the struggles we see with the offense. Can't pretend that's the case. We can't pretend that's not the case. We cannot pretend that he has not played a role. He has. Is he to blame for everything? No. We are going to get into everybody that plays a role. But we're not going to sit here and pretend. We don't do that on this channel. We're not going to pander to the Lamar Jackson fans and pretend he's perfect and never hold him accountable for the mistakes he's made. Lamar has been problematic at times throughout this last month. Past the Dolphins game, he's missed throws he's not supposed to be missing because we've seen him make that a million times with his eyes closed. That's not a good thing. It's up to him to get back to playing to his standard. At the end of the day, he's the one that has talked about wanting to win a Super Bowl every year. Despite what I'm saying about the team, what we are all saying, he still believes he can do that. If you're going to do that, Lamar, you have to return to form. You cannot be missing throws you're supposed to make. You have to return to that MVP form. Despite what I'm saying, and despite what everyone's saying, and despite the level of pessimism that we're showing, because again, we're going at this from a logical standpoint and looking at how you guys have been, and logically, we don't see the path to you making the playoffs. But another reality is that you guys still control your destiny. I don't know how you do, but you guys control your destiny. If Baltimore wins their last 4 games, Baltimore wins the division and makes the playoffs. Doesn't matter what the Steelers do. Doesn't matter what the Bengals do. Baltimore, if they win these final 4 games, they're in the postseason. If they go 4-0 in their final 4 games, they win the division. That's the reality of the situation. I don't know how that's the reality of the situation. After 2 embarrassing losses, back-to-back home losses against divisional rivals, you're somehow controlling your destiny. You're somehow controlling your destiny. So, despite what I'm saying, Lamar, if you return to form, we've seen you carry before. You want to get back to the playoffs? You're going to have to do another carry job. You carry them to a 4-0 record, you're going to be sitting in January in the wild card round with another home playoff game. That's up to you, buddy. But you have to get it done. Also, a few things with Lamar, which again, I've always been saying this, man. I've always been saying this. The mental game for Lamar Jackson always shows on the field. And when I speak on the mental game, I'm not even going to say on the mental game. I'm going to say the emotional aspect. Because I don't even think it's a mental thing with Lamar. I think it's the emotional aspect with Lamar. I don't want to say this, but I have to. You're not Brady, buddy. You are not Tom Brady. You cannot get away with this. Every time Lamar gets frustrated and starts slamming his helmet on the ground, the opponents recognize that and realize Lamar, he might have checked out. He's frazzled right now. He's emotional. And it's going to start to show in this game. He's frustrated. The opponents are watching on the opposite sideline. As soon as Lamar starts raging out and slamming his helmet on the ground, as soon as he starts doing that, they know they got him. And he's done that a lot against the Steelers. When the Steelers see Lamar frustrated and he starts slamming that helmet and yelling, oh, they know they got him. And a lot of times when Lamar does that, we end up losing the game. When I say you're not Tom Brady, what I'm saying is you can't be losing yourself like that and then all of a sudden be able to put it together. Tom Brady is one of the few I've seen. He might be the only one I've seen that can actively do what Lamar's doing. I've watched Tom Brady on multiple occasions slam his slam his helmet, spaz off on teammates, yell at his offensive lineman for not doing his job. I've watched Tom Brady lose his mind on the sideline. He still found the way to regain his composure, go out there and handle business and win the damn game. He's been able to do that. Lamar, you haven't been able to do that. Once you lose your emotions, you kind of check out the game. Like there's a pattern that we can look at and showcase. Once that happens, you start making mistakes and you start making missing throws you're supposed to make. When you start spazzing out, Lamar, game over. The opponents know they've gotten your head. It's a wrap at that point. You're frustrated. They know they just have to keep on pushing for those tiny mistakes, because the more tiny mistakes the Ravens offense makes, the more pissed off Lamar is going to get, the more emotional he's going to get, and the more he's going to try to force some of these plays to happen, and he may miss some throws, and he may turn the ball over. It happens every time against Kansas City. It happens every time against Pittsburgh. They know. Once they've gotten in Lamar's head, once he mentally explodes and emotionally explodes, and he starts spazzing out on the sideline, the opponents know they got him. Like I said, Tom Brady did this all the time throughout his career. But Tom Brady was able to do that and then recollect himself and still go out there and let it not affect his play on the field. You haven't been able to do that. Once your emotions explode, you go out in that field and you play with your emotions on your sleeve, and it starts to affect your game. All of a sudden, throws that you normally make, you start missing. And then you get more pissed off at yourself for missing those throws. And it starts to build, and it starts to build, and it starts to build, and it starts to build. And you're putting more and more pressure on yourself. Buddy, you can't do this. You cannot do this. We all know it. We all, as fans of this team, we all know it. Once Lamar starts slamming his helmet, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. The opponents know it, and we know it. It's a wrap. He can't do that, man. He can't. You want to get to where you want to get to, you have got to get your emotions under control. Because unless you're Tom Brady, you're not getting away with that. Tom Brady's able to explode on the sideline and showcase all those emotions because he's able to reel his emotion back in. You have not showcased the ability to do that. And again, it's not like you're the only one. Again, Tom Brady's probably been the only person, and maybe Peyton Manning, who doesn't do it as much as Tom Brady did, but Peyton Manning did do that as well. I think there's few quarterbacks that have been able to do that and then go back out there and still play their normal game. You don't play your normal game the second you explode. When your anger reaches a certain point, when your frustration reaches a certain point and you explode, you kind of check out the game mentally a little bit. Maybe you're not, it's not like you're consciously doing it, but your play starts to show it because you start missing throws you were making earlier in the game, because those tiny mistakes start to add up and you get more and more frustrated and you start pressing a bit. And once you start pressing, game over. So Lamar, I need you to control your emotions, dude. That is a part of the mental game. If the opponents get in your head, it's a wrap. And they know it, and we all know it. You can't be doing that, man. You can't be doing that. You absolutely can't be doing that. That's the one thing I have a problem with Lamar when it comes to on the field. Because if he was able to still go out there and still play the same way after exploding, fine, I wouldn't mind. But his play dramatically changes the second he blows up. Mistakes that aren't supposed to be made start happening. Throws that he normally makes starts missing. And then you see him getting more and more and more frustrated as he walks towards the sideline as we're punting the football. Can't be having that, man. Cannot be having that. If you want to reach where you want to reach, you want to get to that ultimate goal, you can't do that. You can't. You can't do it. Can't do it. You've got to keep your emotions under control, Lamar. That is going to be an aspect that is going to cost you in this game every single time. So that's just what I got to say about Lamar. One, he's not playing well. He has to play to his standard. He understands that. He's made a lot of bad throws this year. Not even this year. He's made a lot of bad throws since he's been back. Because honestly, before he got injured, he wasn't making bad throws. So you made a lot of bad throws since you've gotten back. You've missed a good chunk of throws, and you've made some dumb plays, which have led to turnovers. You have got to be better. You have got to be better. Straight up. You have got to be better. 100%. You have got to be better. Because if you want to get to where you want to get to, you cannot continue to let your emotions get the best of you. Because when you do that, especially against the Steelers and against Kansas City, they know they got you. And we end up losing the game. Specifically against these two. Because I'm pretty sure there's some moments where I've seen you've been pissed off and we've still won the game. But again, against Pittsburgh and Kansas City, they've got your number. Every time you do that, they know exactly what buttons to push to make sure they keep you right where they need to keep you. So it's up to you to get past those hurdles. That's all I got to say about that. But beside the point, Lamar has not played well. And again, part of it has to deal with the fact that he has missed some throws and he has made some bad decisions, which have led to turnovers. Another part of it has to deal with the surrounding cast around him. All right, let's start with these weapons. Zay Flowers. In all honesty, Zay Flowers is probably going to get the least bit of criticism from me. You are still a problem because you can't hold on to the football. You have a huge case of fumbleitis. And it still annoys us that you can't seem to run in a straight line. I don't know why you won't run straight. Other receivers do it. You just refuse to do it. So you do frustrate me at times when you refuse to run straight and you keep trying to cut back. And you do frustrate me when you can't hold on to the damn football and you keep fumbling it. But in all honesty, if you take a look at how the season's been, and you take a look at how much production he's brought into the offense, you've been the main engine of our receiving game. You've been the main engine of our receiving game. That dude is going to have over 1,000 yards. He's got 1 touchdown on the season, and he's going to be over 1,000 yards. So in terms of our total offensive productions, from a yards perspective, he's doing his job. He's gonna be what? One of the few players in Ravens history to have back-to-back 1,000-yard receiving seasons. Good for him. He's going to probably get it. But on the flip side, you can't seem to find the end zone. You can't seem to find the end zone to save your life. And part of that has to deal with the mistakes you've made, the drops you've had, the opportunity to just run in a straight line and you won't do it, which would have probably got you the touchdown. The offensive pass interference on Thanksgiving, which took away a touchdown from you. You, my friend, have made a good chunk of mistakes that have harmed this defense. Not this defense, my God. That has harmed this offense. We've been talking about defense for an hour. You, my friend, Zay Flowers, you have played a role in Lamar's production looking the way it's looked. Because you, my friend, you've dropped passes when you weren't supposed to drop passes. You failed to make plays in situations where you were supposed to make plays. You have fumbled the ball in circumstances where you shouldn't have fumbled the ball. You pushed off on that offensive pass interference, which again, I don't like the call, but it was clear as day that it was a push off and you didn't even need to push off. That's what pissed me off about that. He didn't need to push off. You already had separation. You beat the guy. Just go catch the football for the touchdown. So you have played a role in some of the issues with this offense. However, you get the least amount of criticism because despite the fact that you can't find the end zone, you still are the main production of our receiving game. You are the main form of production. You are the main form of production. Because when we compare you to everybody else on this offense, you're at least producing. Zay Flowers is at least producing. Zay Flowers on Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers, 8 receptions, 124 yards. On the season, Zay Flowers has 68 receptions for 891 yards. He's going to get another 1,000-yard season. He's absolutely going to get another 1,000-yard season. He has been the primary engine of our receiving game. He's been the primary engine of our receiving game. So he doesn't get that level of criticism that some of the others were going to get. But that does not mean he doesn't get criticism. You're another member of the fumbleitis group. You, Lamar, I'm going to get into the rest of these guys. But you, Lamar, Isaiah Likely, Derrick Henry to a case, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, you guys can't seem to hold on to a football to save your life. You, my friend, are a problem on this offense. You're not the problem, but you are a problem. However, you're a minor problem because, again, you are still producing. I just wish you would run in a straight line. I wish you would actually finish these plays and score some damn touchdowns, because you're leaving touchdowns out there because you keep trying to cut back left and right instead of running in a straight line. Get to the damn end zone and don't push off and you have a touchdown. So again, I'm not going to be too harsh on Zay Flowers. Again, he's been our primary engine of production from our receiving group. But that does not mean he's blameless. He's dropped passes in circumstances he's not supposed to drop passes. Ball's right in his hand, he's dropping them. We need you to make those catches, and you didn't do them. We need you to hold on to the football. You fumbled the ball multiple times. You've got more fumbles than touchdowns this year. That's not a good look, buddy. We need you to be better, because essentially you've played as the wide receiver one. And you've done a good job, but you need to be better, and you need to stop making those mistakes, and you need to run in a straight line. For God's sakes, run in a straight line, dude. Please. Other receivers, do it. What is with you? Run in a straight line. And you would score my touchdowns. Run in a straight line. You keep catching the ball and trying to cut back 3-4. Buddy, run in a straight line. And stop fumbling the ball and make the catches in crucial moments. Please. Other than that, Zay has been the primary form of production from our receiving group. Because if you take away Zay's production, this offense looks 1,000 times worse. Which leads me to my next man to talk about, Rashad Bateman. We gave you praise. We gave you your flowers for what you did last year. And then you come out here and you come out here and you reward the fans and the organization, because I'm pretty sure they also gave you something for that too. I'm pretty sure he got another minor extension for that. So you got rewarded for your 2024 season. You got your praise from the fandom for your 2024 season. And your response is to come out here and go back to playing the way you played prior to 2024. Rashad Bateman has done virtually nothing this season. Rashad Bateman doesn't even look close to being the same guy we saw in 2024. Rashad Bateman on the season, 18 receptions, 217 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's unacceptable. I don't care what you have to tell me. That's unacceptable. You set the bar for yourself with how you played last year. You had 11 touchdowns, dude. You had nearly 1,000 receiving yards and 11 touchdowns. Yet we are in week 14 this year, and you have 200 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. What am I supposed to make of you? What am I supposed to make of you? There's my water. What am I supposed to make of you, Rashad Bateman? You've also been a problem in this offense. You're not making plays. You're not making plays at all. You're not making plays. And then when the ball goes your direction, you're going back to your 2023 form. When the ball actually goes to your direction, you're not catching it. You had a chance to make a catch for a touchdown. You catch that, you turn around, you already had the angle against the defender. You're picking up the first down at minimum, and you're walking into to get a touchdown. Third down, Lamar puts the ball in your hands. You can't make that catch. You make that catch and turn around, that's probably a touchdown. And you can't make that catch. What have you done this year? 217, 2 touchdowns. You had nearly 1,000 yards last year and 11 touchdowns. To go from that to this? Are you serious, my guy? To go from that to this, after all, you spent, I'm not going to say you spent, you dealt with all the criticism from this fan base for 3 years. You dealt with that criticism. You finally had your breakout moment. This was your chance. This was your moment. This was your opportunity. You put up nearly 1,000 yards and had 11 touchdowns. You finally proved people wrong. If you can stay healthy, you can produce. If you're on the field, you can produce. You started to become a legitimate red zone threat. Where is that guy this year? They gave you all of your flowers. They rewarded you for your performance. It was your chance to prove yourself and add to that this year. And what have you done with it, Rashad Bateman? You had 11 receiving touchdowns last year. You showed up in the playoffs. You scored a touchdown against the Steelers. You scored a touchdown against the Bills. You nearly scored 2. You showed up in the playoffs. You showed up in 2024, Rashad Bateman. You were rewarded for showing up. This was your chance to showcase that, hey, I'm here. I appreciate you guys finally, showing me love for finally putting up that performance that I know I was capable of. I finally proved the doubters wrong. This is my chance to add to that. This was the opportunity. People had expectations for you coming into the season because you set the bar for yourself with how you performed last year. And this is what you've put up. 217 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. It's week 14. In fact, it's not even week 14. We're entering week 15. The season's almost over. And that's what you've put up, Rashad Bateman. I don't need to talk about anything else with you. You were the one guy I was at least hoping could be that red zone threat. Because you were last year. I was hoping you'd build off of that. You showcase what you can do. You were supposed to build off of that. And you didn't do it. How am I supposed to look at you now, Rashad Bateman? How am I supposed to assess you? How am I supposed to judge you? Opportunities to make plays, you won't catch the damn ball. Not getting open enough. And when you are getting open and the ball coming your way, you drop it. You're not making the plays that you were making last year. Where is the guy we saw last year that had 11 touchdowns? Where is the guy that was consistently winning one-on-one matchups and being a legitimate threat in the red zone? Where is that guy? I don't see him this year at all. Disappointing you. I'm really disappointed in you. I expected more from you. And this is what you gave us. Well done, Bateman. You put all that time and energy in to showcase what you can do. You had the opportunity to prove yourself, and you went back to the guy you were prior to 2024. And I know you've dealt with your injuries here and there. I know you've had your moments. Everybody on this offense has. But the opportunities have been there for you this year, and you've done nothing with those opportunities. When the ball's coming your way, you're not making the plays. You're not making the catches. You're not doing enough. What else is there for me to say, Rashad? Expected more from you. You haven't delivered. DeAndre Hopkins, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, D-Hop. I'm really sorry you came into this situation. I really thought we were going to do you right. But I should have known the Ravens would have found a way to just screw this up. You always hope that the Ravens can just find a way to not screw up in these situations they did. Diop was supposed to come here and bring a different element to the receiving core. He was that guy that could, make those contested catches. He was going to be that one guy that you knew, he wasn't going to be beating people one-on-one in terms of route running or speed, but he can make those tough possession catches with the defender draped all over him. The opportunities were supposed to be there for DeAndre Hopkins because he can catch anything. Just throw him the ball. And we have done a piss-poor job in getting D-Hop involved, especially in weeks where we are missing guys in the lineup. There's weeks where Bateman's out. You're not using Devontae Walker. The opportunities are there for D-Hop to get the looks he should get, and we're not even using him. Why did you bring him here if you weren't going to use him? And then you got Harbaugh running his mouth at the press conference talking about, oh yeah, man, I really wish we would have used DeAndre Hopkins more. We got to get him more involved. He's got to get his touches. What took you so long to realize that? There were weeks where we were missing multiple receivers and D-Hop was available and could have made an impact, and we're not even giving him the ball. The opportunities should be there for DeAndre Hopkins to make the plays. He can absolutely make the plays. We wasted this man's time. He came here to try to compete, and this is what he was seeing. This is what you gave him. DeAndre Hopkins, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. If you still got some juice left, I recommend you go to Buffalo. They'll at least try to utilize you. With Coleman being what he is now, they could definitely use a receiver over there. You'll at least bring something. You'll bring a different element to that receiving core. I'm sorry we've wasted your time here because we don't even give you opportunities. And that's the one thing about the Ravens that I hate. You'll bring in these veteran players and you don't give them the proper opportunities. So why did you bring them here? Why did you bring them here? You wasted their time. You wasted our time. Why is D-Hop here if you're not going to utilize him? I don't understand it. Once again, DeAndre Hopkins, I'm sorry. The season's going to finish however the season finishes. Whether or not they make you guys make the playoffs, I don't know. 4 games left. I don't think you're going to make the playoffs with the way you guys are playing. If you do make the postseason, hey, man, I don't know. At least you made the playoffs. I just don't know what to say. I'm really sorry, D-Hop. I'm sorry this is how the season turned out. You don't deserve to be a part of this crap, and you absolutely should have got your touches. But for some reason, we haven't done a good job in even getting you involved in the offense. And that's on everybody. I'm sorry you had to come here and deal with that. Devontae Walker, I'm sorry we don't use you enough. You had some opportunities. You dropped some passes, by the way. But you don't even... Devontae Walker is never going to be able to get into a rhythm in this offense if 1 week he's out there getting involved and the next week he's a healthy scratch. I don't know what we plan to do with Devontae Walker. I don't even know why we... I don't know. It's so it just frustrates me so much. We'll have guys that should be on the field that could make an impact, and they're not there. Devontae Walker could make an impact on this offense, and we don't play him enough. And then you cannot expect these players to get in a rhythm if 1 week they're out there trying to make plays, and the next week they're a healthy scratch, and then the next week after that they're a healthy scratch, and the week after that they're out there playing. How can you get in any sort of rhythm on the game? You can't. Why do we continue to have him be healthy scratches? What's the point? What's the point? Do you even want to use this guy? I guess not. I can't assess Devontae Walker because 1 week he's out there trying to make plays, the next week he's a healthy scratch standing on the sideline, not getting to play. What player is going to get in the rhythm like that? 1 week I'm out there, the next week I'm not, the week afterward I'm not there, and then you put me out there the week after? I can't get in the rhythm like that. Back and forth in between being active and being inactive, being on the field and being a healthy scratch and watching the game from the sideline. How can you get into a rhythm if that's what you're dealing with consistently? You can't. So I don't even know how to assess Devontae Walker. All I know is we should give him more opportunities to at least showcase what he could do, and at least have him on the field more, but we don't even do that. This team's so confusing. They'll purposely choose to not use certain... I'm not going to get into that. Devontae, I don't know, man. I don't even know what this team plans to do with you. I really don't. I don't know if you're going to get the opportunities you really deserve here. If you have an opportunity to leave, I recommend doing so. I wouldn't want to play under this team either. Yeah, Devontae, best of luck, man. It's a tough situation to be in. Isaiah Likely. Isaiah Likely. Look, I know you suffered that foot injury that caused you to get surgery. You missed a good chunk of training camp. We know. Missed a chunk of training camp. Didn't really get to play early on in the season. Your first game you got to play was week 4 in Kansas City. I get it. I absolutely get it. But my guy, you wanted a contract. No matter what the circumstances is, you wanted a contract. They're not going to hand you a contract if you don't put up the production that is worthy of that contract extension. At least in terms of the extension, the amount of money you wanted, because they did offer you a contract, you didn't want to sign what they wanted to give you. You wanted more. If you want to garner that level of money, you've got to be for damn sure willing to show up on the field and perform at a high level on a week-to-week basis. Isaiah Likely has all the talent in the world to be a very, very, very great tight end. But when it comes to producing on the football field, he's just not doing it. Like I said, Isaiah Likely has been back since week 4. So he played that Kansas City game. He's been back since week 4. Isaiah Likely on the season has 22 catches for 248 yards and a touchdown. He got his first touchdown of the season last week against Pittsburgh. You know, the sad part about this is Isaiah Likely should have 3 touchdowns. But Isaiah Likely has done a great job this year in costing himself some money. He's done a great job in not being able to perform in some of these moments where he's just gone ghost. And then when the ball comes to him, he's not making the plays. But over the last 2 weeks, Isaiah Likely has done a fantastic job in costing himself a potential contract with Baltimore, which, in all honesty, I don't know if he wants to have. Thanksgiving night against Cincinnati, you make a catch from Lamar Jackson. You're running down the sideline. All you got to do is cross the pylon with the ball to score a touchdown. What do? You choose to extend the ball. You're fighting. Defenders are draped all over you. You should be aware that they're going to try to swipe that ball. They're going to try to swipe that ball. Protect the football, dude. Protect the football. You let that ball get smacked out of your hands for a touchback. Protect the football. You've got defenders draped all over you. I'm so sick and tired of these receivers doing this, man. You know for a fact that you've got defenders draped over you, and you know they're always going to look to try to smack the ball out of your hands. Protect the football. As a receiver, as a running back, as a playmaker that has the ball, please, for the love of God, please, protect the football. What are you doing? Protect the football. You don't do that, ball gets knocked out of your hands, touchback. There goes 7 points. Then comes Sunday. And we've had all the discussions. 2 feet down with the ball in his hands, that should be a touchdown. But they said no, he didn't make a football move. And we can go back and forth with this. And I'm not here to disagree with people's statements here. I'm tired of the refs making these mistakes. But I have been saying this for a long time now. Never give the officials a reason to think. Never give the officials a reason to question. When you give them a reason to think and you give them the reason to question, they're going to make some mistakes. Isaiah Likely had the ball in his hands for a touchdown that would have given Baltimore the lead. However, he had that ball extended, and he kept it extended. 1 foot down, 2 foot down. Before the 3rd foot can come down, ball gets knocked out of his hands. They ruled it a touchdown initially. They decide to review it. They take it off. Again, I'm not arguing with anybody when it comes to that situation. I don't disagree with your statement about saying that should have been a touchdown. I believe that should have been ruled a touchdown. But I've also said the refs are terrible. They've always been terrible. They've always been problematic. You have to make sure you don't put yourself in that situation. Do not give them a reason to question. Do not give them a reason to think. When you give them a reason to think and question, they're going to do something like this. So you know what you should have done? When you caught that ball, you got to cradle it. The second you catch that ball, you got to protect it. You know the funny part about it is, on his first touchdown, that's exactly what he did. He caught the ball like this and tucked it in. He caught it and tucked it in for his first touchdown of the season. That first touchdown he had in that game, he caught it, he tucked it in. He caught it, he tucked it in. For the second touchdown, he did not do that. He left it there, open. Opportunity came, ball got knocked out of his hand. You gave the reasons, you gave the refs a reason to question things. You gave the reasons the refs, I keep saying reasons. You gave the refs a reason to question. You gave the refs a reason to think. And because you gave them a reason to question and think, they thought and they felt it was not a touchdown. You cannot do that. So in back-to-back weeks, Isaiah Likely, you can say it's bad luck. And that's fair. But the main focus should always be protecting the football. And having the ball out like this is not protecting the football. Even Shannon Sharp talked about this. You've got to tuck that football in. Because no matter what the circumstances, there's always going to be a defender trying to knock the ball out of your hands. And they've got a much better chance of knocking the ball out of your hands when it's like this than when you're trying to cradle it and protect it. Because they can get an arm in there to try to knock it out when you cradle and protect it. But as long as you've got it cradled, good luck with them trying to punch that ball out. At the end of the day, you're going to take their arm with you. Catch and cradle the ball. Back-to-back weeks, you were supposed to protect the ball. You didn't. That is how you cost yourself money. Again, you have all the talent in the world to be a great tight end, and I fully believe you have the capabilities of doing so. But my guy, You're costing yourself money here with this. You're costing yourself a contract extension with this team by playing this way. Now, maybe you don't want a contract extension with this team. Maybe you don't want to be wide receiver 2. You want to be wide receiver 1, and you want to be the only X factor. Maybe that's the case. You'll get a contract somewhere else. I doubt Isaiah Likely's coming back, especially after what the Ravens did. But all I'm saying is you've cost yourself money by doing this. You cannot make mistakes like this, especially not back-to-back weeks in crucial AFC North matchups against divisional rivals when first place is on the line. You cannot be making these mistakes. And in back-to-back games, you make those mistakes. Unacceptable. You have all the talent in the world, and arguably you've been this team's clutchest player. You have. In terms of all the receivers, you've been the clutchest. Arguably. We know what you're capable of. But my guy, you cannot be making these type of crucial mistakes in important games. You did it in back-to-back weeks. And if you want that high contract, you've got to produce on the field. And from a numbers perspective, your numbers don't match the production of a guy that should be paid that way. Now, one could argue if you're in a different offense that allows you to be the number 1 option from a tight end perspective, you'll put up those numbers. And maybe that's going to be the case when you hit free agency and you go to the Chiefs or something like that, because I guarantee Kansas City's going to throw it back at him. Or Buffalo. But, yeah, when you're not producing on the field, and then when you're getting these opportunities, you're losing the ball in crucial moments, it's not a good look for you. It's not. And that's a quick way to cost yourself some money. You got to get it together, dude. I would love to say anything past that, but you, Zay Flowers, Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, you guys all got problems with fumbling the ball. You can't hold on to the ball to save your life. You cannot hold on to the football to save your life, and it is a consistent issue with you guys. Get it together. That's all I can say. You got 4 games left. You're going to get a contract from some other team in the offseason. This is your 4 games to try to prove yourself. Give me a second here. Like I was saying, Isaiah Likely, you got 4 games left, man. Get it together. 4 games left, because I doubt they're making the playoffs. 4 games left. Get it together. Oh, boy. Keith Mitchell, Derrick Henry, we ain't got nothing to say about you guys. Keep doing your thing. In fact, you guys both showed up. You showed up yesterday. Y'all did your job. I'm sorry we don't use you guys more. Keaton Mitchell and Derrick Henry did their jobs on Sunday. I'm sorry we don't use you guys enough. That's all I got to say about that. Should be running the ball more and using you guys enough at times, but apparently we don't like to do that. So, yeah, I got nothing to really say about Derrick Henry and Keaton Mitchell. You guys did what you needed to do. So, yeah. Also, Charlie Kolar, don't really have much to say about him either, because, again, he's there more to be an extra blocker and be the tight end 3, so I don't got much to say about him. Which leads me to the last guy that I need to talk about when it comes to these playmakers. Good old Mark Andrews. Congrats on your new contract, buddy. Everybody's hating it, but that's a different conversation for a different day. Congrats on your new contract. What are you doing out here? What are you doing? What are you doing? What was that on Sunday? What was that? 1 catch for 9 yards. What was that? What was that, Mark Andrews? What was that? Just got a new contract, and you go out there, and you're non-existent for 60 minutes of football. What are you doing? What are you doing? there's nothing I could say about you moving forward because, I mean, there's nothing I can say about you right now in terms of the immediate future. They gave you a contract extension. I can't say nothing about you like I would. I can't give that same energy to you that I would give to Isaiah Likely. Likely gonna be a free agent. He probably not coming back because they signed you. He ain't coming back. But yeah, you're here for the next few years. I can't say nothing about you getting it together for a contract. I was hopeful they would wait to the offseason and assess everything, but this franchise don't operate like that anymore. They gave you a contract extension. So what are you doing? What are you doing? Crucial matchup against the AFC, against your fiercest AFC North matchup in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Heated rivalry. 1 catch for 9 yards. You know, it makes sense now. Last year, when you caught that touchdown in week 16, and the media pointed that out, that was your first career touchdown against the Steelers, should have known something was up. Do you just not show up in these big matchups? Where are you in the big moments? Where are you? Where are you in the biggest moments? Where are you when we need you most? Why are you never there? Why are you never there in the biggest moments when we need you most against these type of opponents? I'm trying to figure this out, Mark. I'm trying to figure this out. Playoffs, you're never there. Against the Steelers, where are you? In fact, there's been multiple times where we've tried to target you in key moments of the game against the Steelers, and you failed to deliver. What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you ever going to show up in these moments? Are you ever going to show up in these moments? He stopped D-Hop's touchdown. Guys, I've seen that throughout the week. He can't see D-Hop. I know y'all want to get mad at him, but he didn't do that on purpose. You do realize his back is turned to DeAndre Hopkins. This is happening in live motion. How the hell was he supposed to know DeAndre Hopkins was wide open and the ball was going to D-Hop and not him? Mark Andrews is, maybe Mark Andrews ran the wrong route, but again, it was a situation where he's trying to get open. They got to make the play. Mark Andrews doesn't know DeAndre Hopkins is behind him. He sees the ball coming his direction. He's thinking it's for him. He tries to go and makes that play. I mean, what do you want me to say? He didn't do it on purpose. I know people want to crush him for this, but like, he's watching the ball come his direction. He has no idea that DeAndre Hopkins is behind him. He's trying to make the play. I'm not going to be mad at him for trying to make the play if it's in front of him. I would have been pissed off if he didn't put the effort in. The ball's coming your way and you don't even make the effort to try to catch it? He tried to make a play. They looked like the ball was coming his way. How the hell was he supposed to know D-Hop was right behind him wide open? He doesn't have eyes in the back of his head like, oh, D-Hop's open. Let me move aside and make sure I don't get in his way to make this catch. He's trying to make the play. This is happening in live motion, guys. So I'm not mad at that. I'm not sitting there being like, oh, yeah, man, he took a touchdown away from D-Hop. The ball is coming in his direction. He doesn't know there's DeAndre Hopkins behind him. He's trying to make the play. He just didn't make the play. It's not like he was doing it on purpose to stop D-Hop from making that catch. He didn't know DeAndre Hopkins was behind him. He saw the ball come his direction. What is he supposed to do? Not make a play? Not make efforts into trying to get that? No. He's a competitor. He's a football player. He's going to put the effort in to try to get that ball. That's what you're supposed to do. Whether there's a guy behind you or not, you don't know anything about that. You know the ball's coming your direction, or at least it's heading towards the direction you're heading. You got to go make that play. So I'm not mad at Mark Andrews for that. I'd be more so mad if he didn't put the effort in. If he was just lazy and said, let me let that ball go through. But yeah, Mark Andrews, are you ever going to show up in these big moments? People keep talking about how you only show up in 1 p.m. games. That's where you get your biggest plays. Your biggest plays, your biggest moments are on 1 p.m. games. Even though you've made plays on primetime plenty of times. But you have not made the plays in the biggest moments against some of our biggest rivals. Where are you when we need you? Why aren't you there when we need you? Battle for first place against our most heated rival in the division, and you don't even show up to play. What am I supposed to do with that, Mark Andrews? They paid you the money. I can't tell you to get your crap together. They paid you the money. They paid you the money. You've already been crushed and ridiculed and absolutely baked and criticized by the fans for what you did in the playoffs last year. Do you plan to redeem yourself, or are you going to keep playing like this? That's your choice. You know what's waiting for you if you once again fail to show up in the biggest moments. In this case, it would be a situation where they're trying to make the playoffs and they need someone to make that play, and Lamar goes to you and you don't get it done, Mr. Safety Blankets. Watch what the fans are going to say about you. You've already gotten ridiculed for the playoff drop. You know what happened. They've already brought up your playoff resume and you've done nothing in the postseason your entire career. You want to keep adding to that? Choice is yours. I don't have to be like, get it together like what I'm saying with Isaiah Likely. He's got 4 games to prove himself. They already gave you the contract. You're going to be here whether you like it or not. Well, of course, you want to be here. You got the contract. So you're going to be here for the next several years. Are you going to keep playing like this, or are you going to step up to the plate? You deal with that however you want to deal with that. With that being said, that is pretty much it for the playmakers on the offense. A lot of these guys have done their due diligence in contributing towards the lack of production offensively. There's been way too many mistakes from everybody on this offense, and the continuing mistakes from all these guys, and the missed opportunities and the drop throws and the fumbles, all of this from our playmakers have led to the disastrous month of football we've seen from this offense. And until these guys as a unit can get it together and play some disciplined football, nothing's going to change. That leads me to the last part of the offense that I need to talk about, and pretty much the last aspect that we will talk about as we get ready to end this session, the offensive line. I don't care what you have to tell me. You've got to invest in the offensive line from top to bottom this offseason. If you're actually serious about competing and protecting your quarterback, you would do your due diligence to invest in this entire offensive line. Not just one spot, invest in this entire offensive line. That would be smart. Ronnie Stanley. Again, Ronnie Stanley is a really good left tackle. In some cases, he's a great left tackle. But the concerns for his health will continue to be there, and you don't have a backup plan for that. That is a problem. Now, Ronnie Stanley, I believe he was actually the one that ended up giving up the game-losing sack, which I knew was coming because I know at one point Ronnie Stanley was going to give up one of those. He usually does against the Steelers and the Chiefs, and there was his play. But Ronnie Stanley, for the most part, does his job. I just have concerns with his health, and that has to be a concerning thing. That has to be fixed because if we keep letting that be the case, if we keep letting that be the case without a solution or a backup plan, we're just not going to have a left tackle. So the Ravens need to invest in a left tackle to prepare for life after Ronnie Stanley. I know you just gave him a contract, but you can't fully trust him to be 100%. I hope they realize this. Then again, with this franchise, I think they're heading towards the mud, so they probably are so delusional that they believe they don't have to have a backup plan for Ronnie Stanley. Just putting that out there. Roger Rosengarten, I'm really disappointed in how you have taken a step back this season from what you showcased in your rookie year last year. I mean, you were the guy that erased TJ Watt. We didn't even know who he was in those final 2 matchups. You were stepping up to the plate and doing your job. You've regressed this year. I hope that's not a sign of things to come. I hope you get your crap together because you're not terrible. You're not really a huge problem on this offense, but I'm not going to pretend you haven't been a problem on this offensive line. You've made plenty of whiffs. You've made a lot of mistakes as well. That's why I said from top to bottom, invest in the entire offensive line. You know, maybe get another right tackle there. Maybe that'll get you some motivation to play better because you regressed. I want to see the guy I saw in your rookie year. You're not bad, but you're not the guy I saw last year. Get it together. Tyler Linderbaum, you're not worth $20 million, buddy. I don't care what you want. You are not worth $20 million. Still a great center. Still do your job every Sunday. You're not worth $20 million, buddy. You're not. They're not giving you that contract. If they're that desperate and dumb to give you that type of contract, again, it will go to show that we are really heading towards the mud. You're not worth $20 million a year. You're not. You've had your set of problems this year, just like everybody else on the offensive line. You've had your set of problems. You've absolutely had your set of problems. You're not worth $20 million. They're not giving that to you. I don't want you to go. I just want you to know that they're not paying you $20 million a year. I also hope you show some more consistency, because there's been some moments where you have been poor. Again, not a lot, just some moments, but then again, we don't expect offensive linemen to be perfect. You're going to make some mistakes, but there's no real beef with you. There's no real problem with you. I'm just letting you know you're not worth $20 million. I want you back. I wouldn't mind you being back next year with a whole new set of people around you. You know, I feel like you having to cover up sometimes for the other two bums. The bum on your left and the bum on your right. You got to deal with those two bums. And then you got to try to do your job as well. I know it's not easy. I'm just letting you know you're not worth $20 million. I still want you back. You made some mistakes here and there, but I still want you back. Just know you're not worth $20 million. We can't afford that. That's all I really have to say about Linderbaum. I want him back. Unless you can give me a guaranteed bona fide center that's not going to make mistakes that we could draft right off the bat this offseason, I don't want to lose Linderbaum. But I also don't want to pay him $20 million a year. That's it. I just wanted to point that out. Let's get into the real trash. Andrew Voorhees. You've been nothing short of garbage this year. You've been nothing short of garbage. I don't know what you're doing out here. You're consistently getting manhandled. How are you consistently getting beat? You wanted an opportunity to prove yourself, and they gave you that role. They moved off of Patrick McCarry to give you that role, and you've rewarded them with complete trash. You've been garbage. You've been garbage on a week-to-week basis. You have consistently been garbage. When are you going to step up to the plate? When are you going to improve? When are you going to showcase some level of consistency in terms of being a good blocker? When are you going to make those improvements? Because there was a time where you actually showcased those improvements. You haven't done it. When are you going to improve, Voorhees? You've been trash all year. You know what? It's cool. You keep being trash. And I hope at the end of the year, they move off of you. Because you've been nothing short of garbage. And if you're not going to put the time and effort to improve, and you want to continue to be trash, you don't need to be here. You don't need to be here. Tired of watching you get manhandled for 60 minutes every week, getting bulldozed because you stink. You're just bad. I've been saying for weeks now. Hell, I've been saying for months now. Step up to the plate or you don't need to be here. You have not stepped up to the plate, so you don't need to be here. Since this is how you want to play this season, you can walk. You can honestly walk. They won't get rid of you, though. It's the Ravens. So I expect you to be back next year. But in my opinion, you'd be gone. If it was up to me, you'd be gone. At the end of the year, you'd be gone. I've given you ample chances, and this is how you've rewarded me. Trash. Really disappointing. Last but not least, the most hated man in Baltimore right now, one of the worst Ravens players of all time, Daniel Faalele. This man is up there with some of the greats of the greats. I am so glad you have really done a great job to match your predecessor in Villanueva. I never thought I'd see a person that would match the level of garbage that I saw from Villanueva. But you actually surpassed that. I never thought I'd see somebody that was going to get more hate than 2024 Brandon Stephens. You've surpassed that. You might actually have more hate than Greg Roman ever had here. I mean, people are absolutely disgusted with you. You stink beyond. I don't even want to talk about you stinking. You don't stink. You're not trash. I said this before. I say this again. You don't look like an NFL guard. That's it. I don't need to sit back and say you're trash, you're garbage, you stink. I don't need to do that. You don't look like you belong here. And I'm not talking about the Ravens. You don't look like you belong in an NFL field. There are times where you look like you just don't care out there. There's times where you look like you've never played football before. How can you look so lost? How can an NFL guard look this lost, this cut? Check out the tape. Please go and check out the tape. I've never seen an offensive guard look this lost, this consistently on a week-to-week basis. Do you actually know what's happening out there? Do you know you're playing a football game? I've coined the toss of shadow blocking. I have said Daniel Falele has done a lot of shadow blocking this year. He's been practicing how to block on the field. Because if he practices how to block on the field, maybe it'll help him actually do his job. The problem with him doing all that shadow blocking is that he's actually supposed to be doing his job. Instead of shadow blocking, how about you actually learn to block? You don't look like you belong. That's worse than saying you stink, you're trash, you're garbage. I can't even say that. Andrew Voorhees, he stinks. He's been trash. He's been garbage. But he looks like an NFL guard. He's just stinking up the joint as an NFL guard. You, my friend, you don't look like a guard. You don't look like you belong in the league. You could try the UFL. Go try arena football. They could use you. I don't know if there's any professional flag football teams that you could try out for. Go do that. You don't look like you belong here. You don't look like you belong on an NFL field. You don't look like an NFL guard. You don't play like an NFL guard. No, you have the look. You're huge, so you got the look of an NFL guard. You don't act like an NFL guard. You don't play like an NFL guard. You look like you've never played a game of football before. How many times have we seen in the film? You get off the snap, the defender moves right past you, and you're just standing there, shadow blocking, nobody, looking around. Ball gets snapped. You lightly touch the defender for a second, and then you go to the right or go to the left, and you're doing a lot of this. Looking around, trying to block nobody. You're blocking air. You don't belong. You don't belong in the league with that type of play. You don't look like an NFL guard. Maybe you got to take some time off. Go do some training and actually figure out how to play the guard position in the NFL. Maybe that's what you need, but you don't look like you belong at all. Voorhees has been trash, but he at least belongs. He just stinks up the joint. You don't look like you belong on an NFL field. I've never seen somebody consistently look this. I've never, ever. I've seen guards play like trash all my life. I've seen some bad offensive guards. Villanueva was trash, but he looked like he belonged. He was a veteran. He knew how to play. He looked like an NFL guard. He was just a bad. And I don't want to continue to go through this. I'm not the only one that's seeing this. He got cooked. Shannon Sharpe went on a... Shannon Sharpe and Chad Johnson, they were going at it, man. Unc and Ocho went at it for like 20 minutes. They had a whole session to roast, and Unc did not hold back. I tweeted about this. I retweeted it. I liked it. I reposted it. I did everything I can to get this out here. Shannon Sharpe went to town, destroying Daniel Falele. That man had 1 million quotes. I got the quotes right here, and I'm going to read them. When it comes to Daniel Falele, here are some of the quotes Shannon Sharpe had about him. Or here are some of the quotes both of them had, because both of them had some quotes here. 1, you shouldn't be allowed to be that big and sorry. He's as big as he is sorry, for no reason. 100% factual. He's big for nothing. How are you that tall? How are you that big as an offensive guard and you can't even block? You can't be big and sorry. You can't be big and trash. You can't. You can't be big and sorry. What are you big for? You're an offensive guard. You're big for nothing. Just a big waste of space, dude. You're an NFL guard. You're as huge as you are, and you can't even block? Nah. And we know NFL guards put on that type of weight because of what they've got to deal with. I mean, we saw that with the great future Hall of Famer and Marshall Yanda. I hope he makes it. Dude, the second Marshall Yanda was done with football, he lost the weight. That weight was there to give him the power to be able to block some of the toughest, fiercest defenders he had to deal with. As an offensive lineman, you want to be big. You've got to use your size to deal with the powerful foes that you're going to be dealing with at that D-line. So there's a reason for you to be big. As big as this guy is, he can't do anything well. He can't do anything right. He's big for nothing. Like Shannon said, he's as sorry as he is big for absolutely no reason. Pathetic. On film, he's always at the scene of the crime. I believe Ocho said that. 100% true. Go look at the film. This ain't even just a Lamar thing. On multiple occasions, Daniel Falele has been primarily responsible for tackling Derrick Henry. And I know Derrick's getting sick of that crap. Go look at the film. On multiple occasions, Daniel Faalele has been primarily responsible for tackling Derrick Henry. He's trash in run blocking. He's trash in pass protecting. He doesn't do anything well. Sorry. He doesn't look like a guard. He doesn't act like a guard. He doesn't play like a guard. He does not belong in the league. You cannot look like this and tell me that's an NFL guard. He can't even block the sun out of his eyes. That's funny. That's a funny quote from Shannon. If he's been this bad all season, how bad must his backup be? Ain't no way his backup can be that bad. You're right, his backup isn't that bad. The problem is his backup's got a whole bunch of personal issues that he's dealing with. You can be mad that Ben Cleveland's not getting some time, but we all saw the report that came out today. Buddy has issues he's got to deal with. How the hell are you taking PEDs and you're not even playing? All right, bro. He's doing it to himself. This is why they won't play him. That man's got his own demons he's got to fight. At the same time, you brought him back, DeCosta, so it's on you for not getting a proper backup, somebody to take that spot. That's on you, EDC. You brought him back knowing this. Every team has their... Wait, sorry. Let me go to the next one. This one. How can you pass set and you block nobody? That's such a great question. How can you pass set and block nobody? That might be related to it. I don't know if it's related to it. I don't know. Someone say it was... Let me actually pull that up. Let me pull that up because I saw that. I think the Ravens actually tweeted that too. Let me see. No, they tweeted something else. Let me see. It might have been for something else, but I'm pretty sure it was for something new. No. Right here, per the Ravens, the NFL suspended Ravens offensive lineman Ben Cleveland for 3 games for violating the substance of abuse policy. I don't think this is related to his the DUI he had in the offseason. This is something that's been happening in season. So he's probably taking PEDs or some other drugs he's not supposed to do. He's taking that and he's not even seeing the field. So he got suspended for taking some substance he's not supposed to be taking. That has nothing to do with the DUI he had in the offseason. That's the off-the-field problems that he was having, and they brought him back still. But he had a new thing that kept him, that got him suspended for 3 games. Don't even matter. He was never going to see the field. But yeah, Daniel Faalele, how can you pass set and not block anybody? That's a great question because many times we see this dude in pass protection, he's blocking nobody. What are you doing? You sorry bum. Every team has their fish, their weak link, and he's the one. It's noticeable every game. You're absolutely right. Everybody knows the weak link is Faalele. You don't think coaches see that in the film, how terrible he is? He's the weak link. He's the fish. They go at him every single week, and they watch Lamar get more and more frustrated as this sorry bum blocks nobody and lets defenders go right to him. This might have been, this week, this game might have been the worst film he put out this season. He didn't even attempt to block. He might be a legit double. I ain't even going to make those type of jokes right now. He's awful. He's not an NFL guard. He does not belong here. I know damn well nobody ever told him this year good game. They lied if they did. To his face. You going to hell if you did. That was from Shannon. 100% right. Ain't nobody told this dude he had a good game because he hasn't had a single good game this year. I don't care what you got to tell me. He has not had a good game. He has not had a good game. I agree with that quote. Lamar should have soccer style kicked him in his ass. 77 gonna get me killed. How about I play guard and you play quarterback? I'll do what you've been doing to me. I won't block a damn soul. Man, they were just straight cooking, man. I would love for Faalele to get a taste of what he's been putting Lamar through. Yeah, let Lamar be an offensive lineman. Let's run a trick play. Let's run one of those trick plays. Let's put Faalele in the shotgun and let him take a snap and let Lamar not block for him and see how he feels about it. Because he's getting Lamar killed every single damn week. Bum. You rarely see a quarterback chastise and single out one offensive lineman. Lamar must have been really frustrated. Lamar's been frustrated with this dude every single week. And it's not going to stop. But unfortunately, John Harbaugh, the terrorist that he is, the parasite, the time vampire, he ain't going to make a change. Falele's going to be right back out there come Sunday. Just wait. He's going to be out there on Sunday playing against the Bengals. And they're going to take advantage of that. And they're going to target him. And he's going to get beat like the sorry bum he is. He doesn't belong in the league. Everybody knows it but the Ravens. Everyone can clearly see it but this team. He was never good. Daniel was never good. He was never good. He was never decent. He was never good. Even last year, he was never good. He was never decent. People wanted him gone last year. At some point in time, you got to say, damn, you're not finna whoop my ass all day, every day. Don't you got some pride? I don't think he has any pride. Because I come here every single week and say, don't you have some pride? You letting these guys whoop on you every single week. You don't got any pride. Daniel Falele don't got a single ounce of pride. He don't have a single ounce of pride. Don't tell me you got pride and you out there getting whooped every single week. You got the name on the back of your jersey that you represented. Not even just the team. Forget about the Ravens. Like Shannon talked about this too. Forget about the Ravens for a second. That name behind your back on your jersey, that is who you're representing. And that every time you perform the way you're performing, that's who you're representing. You ain't got no pride to represent that name in a positive light? Shameful. No pride, no passion, no care in the world. You just here for a check. You don't care. The 2000 championship team should have ran out there and said, you are terrible. That would have been hilarious if they did that. As a matter of fact, they should have done that. They should have done that to have so many players on that damn field. This was the funniest one. I ain't gonna lie. He didn't say bench him. He did not say bench him. He said cut him. If I was his coach, I'd tell him, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'd recommend we cut you. That was my favorite line from Shannon Sharpe, where he's like, if I was his coach, listen, I'm going to tell him straight up, I don't know what's going to happen, but I recommend they cut you. So we'll see what happens about that. That was my favorite line from Shannon Sharpe. And I agree with him. If I was the coach, I'm benching him, and I'm telling him, buddy, I'm actively hoping you get cut. If it was up to me, you wouldn't be here tomorrow. Matter of fact, you wouldn't even be here today. But we'll see what happens, buddy. You'll be riding this bench. If I was the coach, you'd be riding this bench until we can get rid of you, buddy. Go start looking at the UFL or some crap like that. Go look at Arena Football. Maybe they'll take you. Let's see what's next. It's hard for me to believe there are linemen worse than he is. I refuse to believe that. You're absolutely correct. He might be the worst offensive lineman in football because he actually doesn't know how to play the position. He doesn't even look like he belongs in the league. That's how bad he's been. And then there was also the main thing, which I'm not going to get into here. He ducked the reports. He ducked the reporters. The reporters wanted to talk to him after the game specifically because he was so terrible. It was recognizable, and Lamar actively lost his mind and spazzed out on him. The media wanted to talk to him. He ran away like a baby. Ran away like a baby. You ain't got the guts to face the media. How sad. So yeah, in terms of that, this was the next statement here. You gotta be as gracious in defeat as you are in victory. A part of being a pro is standing there and facing tough questions. Short of him saying, I suck today, I don't want to hear it. A part of being a pro, you look down at that camera and you answer every question. Take accountability. Don't run. We don't hide. He ran like a child and he hid like a baby. That's what he did. That's what he did. That's what he did. There's nothing more to say about this guy. I don't know how you continue to play him. I don't care who you have to go. The Ravens signed an offensive lineman today. I don't care what position he plays. I'd put him in that line for Daniel Falele. You cannot continue to play him. I don't care what that time vampire John Harbaugh says and him saying, well, I mean, they weren't. I think they actually did a pretty solid job, especially in run protecting. You know, they had some bad plays I don't care what that parasite says. It's the same regurgitated nonsense and garbage. He's so lost. He can't even. He doesn't sense anything that's going on. He's so lost in his own delusions that he actually believes Daniel Falele is playing well. I can't deal with this nonsense. You can't in good conscience continue to play this guy. You can't. especially when Lamar spazzes out on him and singles him out. Lamar may be 2 seconds away from throwing hands with this dude. I'm telling you, it's going to get bad. If Lamar is visibly yelling at this dude and people are seeing that on the sideline, it's only a matter of time before it becomes a regular thing. You need to cut this now. You keep letting this happen, it's going to spark something you don't want to see. But keep playing with fire. Keep playing with fire. All in all, Ravens defense sucked. Gave up season high in passing yards to Aaron Rodgers. First rushing touchdown in 3 years. Season high receiving yards for DK Metcalf in the first 100-yard game for him since week 4. Defense was terrible. Offense, again, made too many mistakes to win this game, and you can't keep making the mistakes they're making. Overall, this is just a bad football team. They're a bad football team that continues to make mistakes, and as long as they continue to make these mistakes, you can't trust them, you can't believe in them, you can't have any expectations for them. This is the problem with the Baltimore Ravens. At the end of the day, they are not a good football team. And we may have to make another stream because we are cutting it now. It's 2 hours in. We really just wanted to speak on the players, but all in all, I'm not going to lie. With the way the Ravens have been operating and the mistakes they've been making, we have to have a real serious conversation about where this team's heading. Because the mistakes they've been making, that's what bad teams do. That's what poverty-ridden teams do. The mistakes they're making from top to bottom, from the way the players are playing, to the decision makings, to the personnel they're putting out here, this is what bad teams do. This team, this franchise, is heading towards hell. They're on a downfall spiral. And they keep pretending everything is okay. But everybody can see they're on a downward spiral. And it's not going to get better come the offseason. Keep this in mind, guys. They can't trade Lamar. He has no trade clause. He would have to ask for a trade. And even then, you can't trade him anywhere. You would have to trade him where he would want to go. And if I'm Lamar, personally, I don't want him to leave. But if I'm Lamar, the first thing I'm doing is making demands for things that need to change here if we're going to win. I need a lot of changes. And if you're not willing to listen to my demands and make those changes, then you can trade me. Keep in mind, you ain't trading me to no bum team. You better take a look at San Francisco. You better take a look at all these other top-tier teams that I can go somewhere and compete for a title. That's where I'm going. So again, if I'm Lamar, I don't want to leave Baltimore. I want to accomplish what I said I was going to do here. If I was Lamar, I'm going to use my power to make sure this organization gets their crap together now. The ball's in Lamar's court when it comes to that. He has the power to change things. It's up to him if he's going to use that in the offseason. And if they don't want to listen to his demands, he can ask for a trade and we can call it a career for Lamar in Baltimore. But that's a different conversation for a different time. Anyway, guys, that is pretty much all I have to say for this therapy session. Offense is a problem. Defense is a problem. That's why you get embarrassed in front of the 2000 Ravens team. And that's why you're 6-7 right now. And your chances to make the playoffs are plummeted. And even though you still control your destiny if you go 4-0, not a single soul believes you're going 4-0. With the way you're playing, you're probably getting smacked again by the Bengals next week. So it is what it is. With that being said, everybody, I got to take a look at some of these comments. Not going to read everything because it's 12:50. I got to go to work in the morning. I can't stay for much longer. So I'm going to cut it short here, but let me take a look at some of these comments. We're going to speed run some of this. Yeah, the Dodgers did pick up Edwin Diaz. You got one of the best closers in baseball, so that's definitely going to help a bullpen that was massively struggling this year. The bullpen was the weakness of the Dodgers, so getting Diaz is going to help. There's also been some quote-unquote rumors, like I say reports, but there's been some rumors that the Dodgers are targeting Tariq Skubal and trying to put together a deal for that. If they get Skubal, it's over. You can't get two of the three best pitchers in baseball on the same team. At that point, the Dodgers are damn near, as long as everybody stays healthy, the Dodgers are basically guaranteeing their three-peat. I'm shocked that the Chiefs lost. I mean, it is what it is. I don't really care about the Chiefs right now. They got their rings. They'll be fine. They can retool. The 1 year that Boogeyman and the Chiefs looks bad, we just look just as bad, if not worse. We can't beat the Bills in the playoffs, so it doesn't matter if the Chiefs are playing poorly. We can't beat high-octane teams in the playoffs. We can't beat elite quarterbacks in the playoffs, so it don't matter. Season over, honestly, I gave this team many chances. I don't know what to say. Go Ravens, I don't want to lose, but I am in tank mood. 7-10, 6-11. Hate to say it, we ain't doing anything in the playoffs. Don't blame me, my guy. Do not blame you. Nobody beats himself like the Ravens do. They refuse to win. Guess what, buddy? That's what bad teams do. Bad teams continue to beat themselves. Bad teams continue to make the same mistakes the Ravens have. We'll have another conversation about that throughout the week because we got to talk about what this team is becoming. Matter of fact, we got to talk about what this franchise is becoming because they're on a downward spiral to hell, and we got to speak on that. Ravens season's over. Henry's leaving next year. D-Hop leaving likely was good, but not now. Not having production. No, not but now having problems holding on to the ball. Defense is ass. There's problems left, right, up and down, dude. All playing like bums. Secure the football. We don't really do that here. We don't really do that here. 2000 Ravens defense was the best defense in history. Yeah, they were out there, and we disappointed them. I'm really scared that there's a future where Harbaugh stays and Lamar walks. That reality is becoming closer and closer every single day. If Harbaugh outlives Lamar, I'll burn all my Ravens jerseys. Good luck with that, big dog. Marlowe gets cooked almost every Sunday. He's an IG star. I ain't gonna get into that right now. How many fans want Harbaugh to stay compared to people that want him gone, do you think? Trust me, it's a huge, it's probably maybe 70-30. 70-30, maybe close to 80-20. A majority of the fans want him gone. But there's still that good chunk of fans that want him to still be here because they hold on to this idea that if we don't have Harbaugh, who are we going to take? Even though this is supposed to be a top-class organization, they should be able to get somebody to come in here and lead this team. You had Mike Macdonald 2 years ago. You didn't want to put him in that role. Instead, you chose to stick with Harbaugh. Now Macdonald's changing life for Seattle, and Harbaugh's doing his crap here, and nobody's listening to him anymore because he lost the locker room. If this team doesn't make the playoffs, then Harbs has to go. He's been out coaching under Chief for far too long. Probably not going anywhere. He's probably not going anywhere. I'm already looking at mock drafts. I hope we lose the rest of the season. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Again, Nicholas, even if the Chiefs miss the playoffs, we can't beat the Bills in the postseason. We can't beat elite quarterbacks in the postseason. It doesn't matter if the Chiefs are there. We'll just lose to the Bills. If anything, the Chiefs not being in the playoffs means the Bills should be in the Super Bowl this year. It wouldn't mean the Ravens will be in the Super Bowl. It means we'll just lose to the Bills again like we always do because we can't beat elite quarterbacks. Oh. Every time the Ravens post on Instagram, Falele gets toast in the comments. He deserves it. He deserves it for how he's playing. Let's see what else we can get here. Crazy thing is, it could be 3rd and 17, and the opposing team always gets it because our defense does the same thing every single time. But just blitz. Not like they can't read the blitz. Zach Royer doesn't have his default play is blitz on 3rd down every single time. Uh, let's see. Should have brought him back on a vet minimum for Clowney. We should have. We should have, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Also with Matabike, yeah, I don't know if he's going to play football again. He might really be done. He might actually be done. Yeah, that defense got Geno Stone and Brandon Stevens paid. Yeah, Mike McDonald's did wonders with those guys. Did you see the stuff about it getting exposed that Lamar and others have been wanting? Attitude, I saw that. Again, I'm not taking Reddit posts seriously. If it's true, it'll come to the light, but I'm not using that as, facts just because people have agendas. They want to see this guy gone. I'm not using Reddit posts and saying those are factual. If it's true, everything will come to light. That's all I got to say. If it's true, it'll come to light, but I'm not going to believe a Reddit post. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But I'm not going to use that as factual to push an agenda. That's not what I do here. Unless if it was reported by a factual reporter and a trusted reporter, by all means. But it's a Reddit post. I'm not buying into a Reddit post. If it's true, it'll come to light. That's all I got to say about that. Now looking forward to Drake May giving us the belt on national television. Yeah, can't wait to have another primetime game that we lose today. Not today. I can't wait to have another primetime game at home where we get belted. First the Lions, then the Bengals. Let's get belted by the Patriots in Baltimore again, right? Because all we do is lose at home this year. You know, the Ravens are the only team in the league that can't throw good screams. The Ravens might be the only team in the league that can't consistently play on script and execute on script. Ravens have been pretty disappointing this year, not gonna lie. Maybe this could be a blessing in disguise, though. We'll see. I'm just glad that my other team in Carolina is finally doing well. Again, it's interesting to pull the whole blessing in disguise thing, but if they don't make changes for the better, it doesn't matter. You know, they could still choose to keep their coaching staff here and run it back next year. They could still do that. That would still be a terrible decision, but who knows? Maybe they get rid of them, but I doubt it. I really doubt it. I really doubt it. How's the therapy session going? Well, it went well, I guess. I wish I had the same job security John Harbaugh's had. Yeah, I would love that too. I would definitely love that. No, I'm not gonna say Sanders sucks. I'm not here to push a specific agenda. I would have to fully assess and then go from there. I'm not gonna push an agenda of just saying a player sucks, especially without a take. I would need a reason to say something like that. I don't. I'm not just gonna say that for the sake of saying that. Likely actually shows up in big moments and makes plays for Lamar. He literally had the touchdown on Sunday. Everyone, even Steelers fans, said that's a touchdown. Again, I don't disagree. I believe it was a touchdown. I think the refs got it wrong. But my saying about that statement, my saying about that situation is don't give the refs a reason to question and don't give the refs a reason to think because it'll always lead to bad results. Tuck that ball in and we're not having this conversation. Don't disagree with the statement that everyone's been saying that he made the catch. I believe he made the catch. I believe that should have been a touchdown, but you gave the refs a reason to think, and they're always going to mess up in these situations because they never know how to handle it. It was so bad it got national media attention. He knew he was bad avoiding the media like that. Falele knows he's trash. What is he going to do about it? He's just going to go out there and play next week. The coach won't bench him, so what is he supposed to do? He's going to go out there and get exposed every week. Better hope he doesn't get smacked in the face by playing trash. Somebody going to lose their temper on him. Only a matter of time. I agree. 77 is a visible problem. I think Munkin doesn't make needed adjustments for the line, even in 2023. Line protection was shaky sometimes. I mean, you can make as many protections, you can make as many adjustments for the line as you want. 77 is still going to get beat. There's nothing you can do about that. 77 shouldn't be in the league. If he's this bad now, how bad was he in the NFL Combine and Draft? That's a different conversation for a different day. Lamar has to go post game and talk to reporters, win or lose, and take the blame, even if stuff isn't his fault, and takes criticism before Lele walked out. Someone who's accomplished nothing acting like that. It's embarrassing, but it is what it is. The league won Bills and Rams in the Super Bowl. Good for them. Ravens' entire legacy is literally Ed Reed and Ray Lewis and Terrell Suggs and a few others, but you know, it's what it is. Their legacy is that legendary defense that had Hall of Famers on it. Ravens were a first-rate organization, but they aren't what I would consider anymore. Dude, I'm gonna have a whole conversation about that. Don't worry, I'm gonna have a whole conversation about that, big dog. Ben Cleveland got a 3-game suspension. Will this make us worse? It won't change anything. He wasn't playing before he got the suspension. It's changing nothing. Why did the NFL pick the Ravens and Pats over the Broncos and Jazz for Sunday Night Football? Go ask them that question. I don't know. Not gonna lie, the NFL must hate the Ravens. Final 4 games at Cincy with Joe Burrow, Pats at Green Bay, and end the season with Pittsburgh. No, they don't hate them. They just assume the Ravens would be good. Unfortunately, they aren't. How do you allow your $200 million quarterback to be protected by a bum? I don't know. Well, go ask the Colts when they did that with Andrew Luck. We're taking a nice page out of their book. If Lamar asks for a trade, LA or Eagles, that's not my concern or prerogative to guess where he would want to go. I hope he doesn't ask for a trade, but that's not my place to really speak on that. Hope he doesn't ask for that though. In your opinion, do you think we spent too much money on Derrick Henry, and did we even need him, or could we have plugged in any running back and it would have worked based on our history? I don't think we spent too much money on Derrick Henry. I don't think that's a problem. Again, the offensive line is not good. Derrick Henry would be killing it if you would give him a good offensive line. So I don't think the money we spent on Derrick Henry is a problem. And I also don't think we could just plug anybody in and they'd be giving us the level of production we would be getting with Derrick Henry behind a healthy line. But we could still put any running back there and be effective if Lamar Jackson was healthy. Lamar Jackson's not healthy. So you can't just plug in any running back and expect them to be effective. In the past, we were able to do that because Lamar was healthy. This year, Lamar's not healthy. He's not a running threat, and people are zoning in on Derrick Henry. You know what would help Derrick Henry? Give him a great offensive line so he can dominate, but we don't have a great offensive line. So you don't have a great offensive line, and Lamar Jackson's not a running threat. That's what you're going to get from Derrick Henry. And even so, Derrick Henry has over 1,000 yards rushing and 10 touchdowns. So... Wait, does he have 10 touchdowns? Let me check. Let me not just make assumptions here. Derrick Henry. Yeah, Derrick Henry has 1,000 yards rushing and 10 touchdowns with 4 games to go. He's probably going to finish somewhere between 1,200 and 1,400 yards and somewhere between 12 and 14 touchdowns. That's still a great season. Behind this crap O-line, he's still producing at a high level. So no, I don't think we spent too much money on Derrick Henry, and I don't think we could just plug anybody there and it would work, especially with Lamar being hurt this year. Now, if he was healthy, maybe it could have been effective, but I don't know if it would be as effective as Derrick Henry. Henry hasn't fallen off a cliff. He's still that guy in a terrible situation. He's basically working with the same offensive line he was working with in Tennessee, which is why his numbers dropped his last year there. When you give a running back a terrible offensive line, he's not going to produce at the best of his level. And even with the terrible offensive line, the dude still has 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns with 4 games left to go. He's going to be somewhere between 12 and 1,400 yards and 12 and 14 touchdowns this year. It won't be the 1,900 yards and 16 touchdowns he had, but 1,400 or 1,312 touchdowns or 13 touchdowns is still a great year from Derrick Henry, even with this crap offensive line. Imagine if we had an elite offensive line. Imagine what Derrick Henry would look like. So, no, I don't think we wasted money on him. Anyway, guys, it is 1 a.m. I have work tomorrow, and I have to go to sleep now. So, I appreciate you guys tuning in. We already knew this therapy session was going to be over 2 hours, so we had to get it done today. I'll probably chill out tomorrow, and then Thursday we'll probably talk about the Ravens again. And then we'll get ready for the mess on Sunday. I'm not going to be streaming the game, but I will be here for the post-game. To get you guys' thoughts and reaction to whatever nonsense we see on the field on Sunday. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this therapy session. This has been the Week 14 therapy session. I appreciate you all tuning in. I appreciate you all coming in and then joining in on the discussion. And, yeah, I'm so tired, guys. I want to go to sleep. So, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you guys for coming to the therapy stream and pulling up and having the conversation with me here, because this at least helps ease the pain a little bit. But, you know, it is what it is. You know, we're still fans of our teams, and we're going to keep rooting and supporting until the season ends. Boy, I cannot wait for Ravens football to end. I never thought I'd be saying this, but I cannot wait for the season to end. I can't wait for Ravens football to end. It's been a torturous season. It's been a hellacious season, and I want change now. If we don't get any changes, I won't be looking forward to 2026. It is what it is. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys later. Be sure to stay safe, and peace out. Good night, everyone.